We are about to begin a very, very, very special discourse. I'm teaching this discourse because this week on Tuesday or Monday, we had the opening of the embassy, the United States Embassy in Yerushalayim, and I sense in my bones that has tremendous, tremendous historical and significance, particularly regarding the completion of the exile and the beginning of the redemption, or related to the unfolding redemption. This discourse speaks about the significance of Erev Rosh Chodesh. It was unique. The time was Erev Rosh Chodesh Sivan. This mimer from 1928, not 1928, no, Chavches was 1968. Was a mimer that the Rebbe said, and it discusses the Erev Rosh Chodesh, both of Erev Rosh Chodesh Iyar and Erev Rosh Chodesh Sivan, and the difference between them. And I think the discussion or the explanation of Erev Rosh Chodesh Sivan, or what the significance is, will shed light into the meaning of the event that happened this week. So even though it's before Shavuos, but I think the mimer, yes, connects to Shavuos as well. It's not directly a Shavuos mimer, but it does connect to the concepts of the preparation for the giving of the Torah. Okay, here we go. Vayomer lo Yonasan machar chodesh, and Yonasan said to David HaMelech. Now, okay, let's just learn. Vayomer lo Yonasan machar chodesh. Yonasan said to David HaMelech, tomorrow is Chodesh. Tomorrow is going to be Rosh Chodesh. It's going to be the beginning of the new Hebrew month. And you will be remembered, because your seat will be vacant. This is referring to the time when Shaul HaMelech wanted to kill King David. He knew that he was already told by the prophet that he would be taking the kingdom away from him. He saw him as a Moirid B'Malchus, as someone rebelling against the king. And as a result of that, he wanted to take his life. And so Yonasan, who was the son of Shaul, was a very good friend of David HaMelech. So he tells David HaMelech that tomorrow, by the Sudas Rosh Chodesh, because you're not going to show up, in order to test what's happening over here, you're not going to come. When you're not going to be there, the discussion by the Rosh Chodesh meal is going to be about you, about David. Where is he? Because sometimes when a person's seat is empty, that itself brings up the awareness of that individual. And Shaul is going to ask about you, and then we'll see from there where his heart is at. What does he plan on doing? And that's what happened. Then the next day, we find that David wasn't there, and Shaul HaMelech asks where he is, and then he tells his son Yonasan, and he gives him the job to kill King David HaMelech, because he's whatever. And then David and Yonasan made a whole sign that would indicate to David HaMelech what the situation is. Does he have to escape or not? That's the idea. Or maybe Adma Marash Bali Yemel is the Beis Ear. And the Rebbe Marash, fourth Chabad Rebbe, Reb Shmuel, who was born on Beis Ear. Now this mimer is said right before Erev Rosh Chodesh Iyar, so that's why he mentions that connection to the birthday of the Rebbe Marash on Beis Ear. Mamare al pasuk zeh on his mimer in this pasuk. Masha Pirush Rashi al pasuk, this that Rashi explains on the pasuk. Shenifkadeto lashon zikarin, that v'nifkadeto means you will be remembered. Like from the word we know pakoid pakadati, which by the way 778 this year, 5778. Is gematria pakoid pakadati, which is the words that God used for the redemption, the first redemption, the redemption of Mitzrayim, came through pakoid pakadati, which is gematria 778, which is this year. And but you see from there that pakoid means I have remembered. So same over here when it says v'nifkadeta, it means lashon zikarin, it means a remembrance. And also, v'yipaked u lashon chisarim. And v'yipaked is also a lashon of chisarim, lacking. So you see over there, v'nifkadeto, you will be remembered. Why? Ki yipaked moshavecha, because your seat will be vacant. So the same word is repeated twice. Not exactly the same word, but the same shorish. V'nifkadeto and ki yipaked. In one case, it means you will be remembered. The other case will be you will be absent. which remember and absence are two opposites, as he will point out, and yet they're both contained in the same word. Upedish, and the meaning of an ifkadeto ki yipakid moshevecha means through this that the seat of David will be vacant and empty. Al Yadeza Yizkar Shaul Olav, through this Shaul will remember about him and he will inquire about him. And he explains and he continues in the discourse. The reason why he uses the word v'nifkadeta when the more common word for remembering is v'niskarta, so you should have said v'niskarta ki yapakid mashavecha, and then you wouldn't be confusing because you wouldn't be using the same word with two opposite meanings. V'niskarta, you remember. So he explains shene v'nifkadeta hu gam lashon yichud. V'nifkadeta has another meaning. It also comes from the word as a yichud, a unity, an intimacy. Like we find Kalash and Razal, the sages say, Chayav Adam Lifkoi des Ishtoi, that when a person goes out traveling, he needs to be intimate with his wife before he leaves on a journey. So you see they use the word Pekida, Lifkot, comes out that V'nifkadeta means also tomorrow is Rosh Chodesh, V'nifkadeta, and you will have a yichud. There will be a yichud. You will have an intimacy. In what sense? What's the intimacy? Kishol, so he explains like this, because in the spiritual dynamics, what is happening over here is like this. We know that King David HaMelech, is the personification. He is the embodiment of Sfiras HaMalchus, of the attribute of kingship, which is the feminine element of the divine. And we know that in Malchus, there's a constant flow of energy from the higher levels, but even though there's a constant flow, there is something unique called a yichud. A yichud means when there is an extra closeness between the mashpia and the makabel, and the mashpia, the influencer, is giving of his essence. A man is always providing for his wife. That's his job. He has to provide for her clothing, takes care of her food, and so on. There's once in a while, and where he's in an intimacy, and that intimacy, he's not just giving her some kind of an influence, he's giving her himself. He's giving her his entire being. So over here, so that's the idea of a yichud with malchus. So he's explaining that when Yonasan is telling David HaMelech, v'nifkadeta, it doesn't only mean you're going to be remembered, but it means you're going to have an intimacy with Shaul. What does that mean? An intimacy with Shaul means the spiritual source of Shaul is from the higher attributes, from the Shaul HaMelech was plugged in, his soul was plugged into the attribute of Bina. And Bina is much higher than Malchus. And what it means over here is that there's going to be an influence coming from Bina to Malchus. And that's the V'nifkadeta, that's this intimacy. V'nifkadeta, gam loshin yichud koloshin, yeah. Ki Shaul Bina, Shaul is Bina. And where do we know that Shaul HaMelech is related to Bina? Like that's why Shaul was an incredible scholar. But it also says, Shaul merachayve sanor. It says about Shaul that he comes from Rechayve Sanor. He comes from from a place called Rechayve Sanor, the broad river. Now, even though it's interesting, and we in Chassidus we learned many times that Chachma is called a Maayon, is called a spring, and Bina, which takes the kernel idea of Chachma and develops it into a full-fledged concept, that's like a river that comes about as a result of a small little drip from a Maayon, from a spring. So Bina is called Rechovos Hanor. The pasuk says that Shaul comes from Rechovos Hanor. Now it really isn't a question someone can ask. When it says Shaul Rechovos Hanor, it's not referring to Shaul HaMelech. It's referring to a whole different Shaul. Which Shaul? It's talking about one of the kings of Edom. Edom had 8 kings before the Jewish kings. So one of those kings, his name is Shaul, and he comes from Rechayve Sanar. So it's nothing to do with actually Shaul HaMelech, King Saul. But yet, since we see the word Shaul, the same name, and it says by Shaul as Rechayve Sanar, that's a sign that Shaul HaMelech as well is related to Rechayve Sanar. And Rechayve Sanar is Bina. That's his source. Which is Shirish Hamida Istizat. Now Bina is called the mother Aim habanim samecha. Bina is the mother of the children. The children are the emotions, the 6 emotional attributes. From Chesed, there are 7 spheros that we're doing now, spheros Omer. So there are 7. 6 of them are one entity. They're all masculine. And they comprise the unit called the Ze'er Anpin, the small face of God. Malchus is the feminine side, the recipient, already the godly energy that is infused within creation. So there's Malchus and there's the Ze'er Anpin. Now the Midos, these 6 Midos from Chesed to Yesod, they receive their influence, they're born from their mother. Who's their mother? Bina. So when we say Shaul, because it's interesting to say that Shaul has an intimacy with David, has a yichud with David, when Shaul and David are both feminine. Shaul is Bina and David is Malchus. So even physically they were both men, but spiritually they both relate to the madrega that's related to, in order for there to be a yichud, it has to be male and female. So when he says there's a yichud over here from Bina to Malchus, he emphasizes that the yichud, that Shaul, is from Bina, which is the shoresh, which is the root of the midos of the Ze'er Anpin. And this idea that Bina is the shoresh of the Ze'er Anpin, it says in the pasuk. Like it's hinted to in the pasuk, it says Mi bara Elah. It says lift up your eyes and you will see Mi bara Elah, who created these. Simply means take a look and see who created these. But the deeper esoteric meaning is Mi is related to Bina. Like we know, 2 days from now is going to be Shavuos. Shavuos is the 50th day, and the 50th day of Shavuos is related to is called the day of Bina. Receive the Torah and the like. So we count 50 days. Chamishim Shari Bina, 50 gates of Bina. So Mi is 50, Mem Yud. And what does the pasuk say? Mi bara Eleh. Mi, simply it's who created these. But the deeper meaning is Mi Bina bara. She is the creator of Elah, of these. Who's the these? The these are the 6 emotions. They're called Elah. Elah is also gematria 36. Aleph Lamed Hey 36, which is the full sphera, because a complete sphera is when it contains within all the other spheres. So it's 6 times 6. Each sphera has 6. So 6 times 6 is 36. So we're only counting the midos. We're not counting malchus. We're not counting the feminine. So within the midos, each one 6 times 6 is 36. So what are we saying? Mi, the mother, Bina, 50, bara, she creates 36. Elah, which is the 36 midos. The mi, Bina, who are shayrish, the Elah, midos of midos. Good. So that's Shaul. Now we know who Shaul is. The David, who Malchus. And David is Malchus, the Shechina, the source of creation. That's why it says, V'nifkadeta, and you will be remembered. Sheshal yifkoid as David. That Shaul should remember David, or yifkoid also means yichud. Hainu sheyeh yichud za. See, the yichud is not the yichud of Bina and Malchus. That's not a yichud. The yichud is the yichud of the Ze'er Anpin, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the masculine spheres, the midos. The 6 midos of the Ze'er Anpin, they should have a yichud with Malchus when they do that, they are transmitting to Malchus what they are receiving from their mother, from Bina. Shesharsha again. There should be a yichud of the Ze'er Anpin. Shesharsha Bina, which is the shorish of Bina. Ze'er Anpin, even though which is rooted from Bina, who is what? Who is Shaul? Well, Malchus and David. This is called the yichud of Shaul and David, even though really in essence it's a yichud of the Ze'er Anpin, of the Midas and David. But since the Midas come from Bina and they're empowered by Bina, it's called the yichud of Shaul and David. And that's the meaning. V'nifkada, tomorrow you will be remembered. This is the connection. That this idea of that because you're going to be vacant, because you're not going to be there, that's why there's going to be v'nifkadata. That's why you're going to have this yichud. What's the relationship? And it's connected to when is this going to happen? He is talking to him on Erev Rosh Chodesh, and he is saying to him, Machar Chodesh, tomorrow is Rosh Chodesh, and this is going to happen. So he's going to explain it as a specific connection to tomorrow being Rosh Chodesh. Ki be'erev Rosh Chodesh, because in Erev Rosh Chodesh, hu helem v'hester alavana. We know the moon is also symbolic of Malchus, of the Shekhinah. Now in every Erev Rosh Chodesh, every second half of the month, the moon fades away from the sky. Finally, on Erev Rosh Chodesh, there is no moon at all. So it's helem v'hester alavana. The moon is in complete concealment. And all the way to the point where a moment before the moiled, there isn't even an akuda. There's nothing left. You don't even see a point. The moon completely disappears from the sky. And what happens after that? When you might think, chas v'shalom, God forbid, there is no moon. But after that, it comes back with greater vigor. And then the next day, it becomes machar chodesh, tomorrow is chodesh. Moiled alavana machadash. The moon comes back and it's reborn again. Yichud shimsha v'sihara, which is a yichud, which is a unification between the sun and the moon. What happens when the moon comes back? Why is the moon shining? What's the light of the moon? The light of the moon doesn't have its own light. She received the light of the sun. What happened then at Erev Rosh Chodesh? The moon did not have the light of the sun. So then what happened on Rosh Chodesh? It received a new light that it didn't have before. At least visible to us, it's considered a new light it didn't have before. This is symbolic. Now the sun represents the masculine energy of the Ze'er Anpin. The moon represents the feminine recipient of the Shekhinah. And here is the idea. On Rosh Chodesh, there is a v'nifkadata, there is a yichud, there is an intimacy between husband and wife, between the cosmic husband and the cosmic wife, between Hashem and the Shekhinah, between God and the Jewish people, between Shaul, which is really between Shaul, meaning the Ze'er Anpin receiving from Shaul, with David HaMelech. When does that happen? That happens on Rosh Chodesh. But here's a very important point. There is something that triggers it. What triggers this yichud on Rosh Chodesh? What triggers it on Rosh Chodesh is what happens on Erev Rosh Chodesh. Why is it going to be v'nifkadata? Why is it going to be, why are you going to be remembered? Ki yepakid mashavecha, because you, David, your seat is going to be vacant. That's like the moon not shining. There's no moon in the sky. Your seat is vacant, means your presence is absence. You're not there. So it's the same as also. Hu Malchus is a Malchus Sherish Alavana, the root of the Levun. Through this that your seat is vacant. Shal David, which is David Malchus. Al Yadei Zeh Dafka V'nefkadata. That itself is going to cause the V'nefkadata, you're going to be remembered. Yichus Malchus Imza. The Yichud of Malchus with the Ze'er Anpin. That's what's going to happen. We can add the Zeh Sheberish Chodesh Nasa Yichud Shimshas Zah. V'sihara Malchus, who this that on Rosh Chodesh this yichud happens, the yichud of the sun and the yichud of the moon, who shenimshach b'Hashem merzah mebchinas la'elam and shimsh. Now we can add on to this that till now what's happening on Rosh Chodesh is only the yichud of the sun and the moon, which translate that into spheros, the yichud of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Ze'er Anpin with Malchus. But we don't have in that Machar Chodesh. I'll be pashtus, and simply, we don't have over there an indication of some relationship to Shaul. Remember, Shaul is a Bina, the source of the Ze'er Anpin. So he says, no, in the yichud of the sun and the moon, or of the Ze'er Anpin and Malchus, there is also a connection to what is beyond the sun. Why? Because this yichud of Shimsha Zav Sihara Malchus, who shenimshach b'Hashemesh, in order for the moon, for the sun, to give a hashpah to Malchus, or at least to be motivated to give a hashpah to the moon. You see, the moon is so insignificant compared to the sun, even physically. The sun is, a couple of, hundreds of thousands of times larger than the earth. And the moon is tiny, and the moon doesn't have any light. So why would the sun be mashpia on them? And I'm saying obviously we're dealing with not just a phenomenon where the sun is shining and the sun couldn't care less and light is shining on the moon. I'm thinking in concept, if the sun is being mashpia to the moon, why would it do so? It has to have some kind of stimuli. Something has to stimulate it. So it says that when the husband is going to marry his wife, he benefits that there is a tremendous infusion of energy and enlightenment to him for the sake of him getting married. So the same, as that relates to the Ze'er Anpin, is that the Ze'er Anpin receives an illumination from Bina. As we're going to see in a moment, it's not really an illumination from Bina. It's an illumination coming all the way from the Ein Sof. It's coming from Keser. So you understand something. The Midos, the 6 emotions, the attributes, the Spheros, they have tremendous energy and light and power, but it's, in a sense, it's already measured. That's why it's a sphere. It's an attribute. It's a midah. Midah means measure. So it's a measured light. Compared to Malchus, it's almost infinite. Malchus doesn't have anything. She's only a recipient. So Malchus is poor. She doesn't have. They're rich. They have tremendous amount of power and energy and so forth. But their energy is at the very end is also limited. For them to receive the pure light of the Ein Sof, that's only when they're going to be mashpia, their mashpa, into Malchus, which is the recipient, which is the Shekhinah. So this is what happens. So the sun receives from a place that's beyond the sun. That's a term in the Zohar. What is that? Keser shalamaylam hishtalshalos. It's when the light and the infusion of Keser, which Keser means the crown, above the head. It's infinite, which is higher than the entire hishtalshalos, which is higher than the worldly progression. The spheros are already a progression of godly, of energy, that of divine light, of divine process, which is already adapting and contracting already for the creation. That's called the shtalshalos. Keser means the light of God as it is still infinite. So usually the Ze'er Anpin doesn't have access, so is not receiving a direct infusion of light from Keser, only through a keyhole. But when Keser goes to marry Malchus, he merits to have this extra infusion that will give him the koyach and give him the inspiration to get together with her, even though she is so much inferior to him. And this is why we see in every chasana that when the chassan is getting married to the kala, they go under a chuppah. The chuppah represents the keser, so the keser is drawn to him so he can be mashpiyah to her. Like it says, that when Shlomo HaMelech, it says, go out to look at Shlomo on the day of his wedding. So when Shlomo HaMelech is getting married, Shlomo HaMelech is the Zeir Anpin, and he's getting married the day of his wedding. He's getting married to Malchus. So what happens on that day? Go see him. When his mother gives him a crown. Who's his mother? Bina. But what is she giving him? She's not giving him influence from herself. She's passing influence from Keser down into Malchus. But when does the Zeir Anpin receive it? When does the son receive it? On the day of his wedding. It means for the sake of his yichud. In order that there should be a yichud of the Zeir Anpin with Malchus. Which is the day of the wedding. Is through this that he receives an atara keser, which is a crown. And this hamshacha, and this drawing of keser light to the Zeir Anpin b'yom chasanasi on the day of his wedding, it's coming through bina, and that's where Shaul HaMelech plays a role over here. Because Shaul is the intermediary, or the mediator, passing through Shaul, the light of Keser. That his mother gives it to him. So based on this, we'll understand even more the connection of this idea of Machar Chodesh, and you will be remembered because your seat will be vacant. The idea of Machar Chodesh is this, that through the concealment of the moon that happens on Erev Rosh Chodesh. On Erev Rosh Chodesh there is a concealment of the moon. Which this brings about on Rosh Chodesh. What's Machar Chodesh? Machar Chodesh says tomorrow is Chodesh. That means we're dealing with Erev Rosh Chodesh, the day that the moon becomes the least present. The moon becomes completely nullified. She nullifies herself. In the sky, she has no light, as if she doesn't exist. That happens at Erev Rosh Chodesh. And that itself makes her deserving, we're going to soon see, the bittul of the moon on Erev Rosh Chodesh makes her deserving and capable of receiving a total new light from her husband, a light that's really infinite because it's a light that's coming directly from Keser through Bina to the Zeir Anpin for the sake of the Hashpah into Malchus. And as a result of that, Malchus is enriched, but also HaKadosh Baruch Hu is enriched. In a sense to say that the Eibush there, what we say HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is enriched from the Ein Sof, from a Hashpah of Ein Sof that's higher as a result of his Hashpah to us. So this is the connection of Macha Chodesh. Malshadei Helen, V'Hester Alavanash of Erev Rosh Chodesh. Nasa B'Rosh Chodesh, we turn over the page. Yichud Shimsha V'Sihara, Yichud of the sun and the moon. Who? Lefisha Habitel Dalavana, because the nullification of the moon. Mashem Esalemes Umasteres. This that she hides and gets concealed. Achalo Nishaba Fil in Akuda, until there's nothing left of her, even in Akuda. Magia, that reaches L'Bchenes HaKeser Shalamayla Meshtalshalos. That has an effect. No, the question is like this. Why is it that the new hashpah to Malchus, the yichud of the sun and the moon, requires a bittul? Why do we say that Chodesh is dependent on Erev Rosh Chodesh, the idea of Machar Chodesh, tomorrow is Rosh Chodesh? Why is that significant? And the answer is, we're saying like this. In order for the sun to be mashpiyah to the moon, or in its higher application, in order for HaKadosh Baruch Hu to give to Malchus, to the Shekhinah, it requires a hashpah from Keser. In other words, it needs an empowerment from Keser. So we need something that would trigger a hashpah from Keser. Now Keser is not impressed by anything, because Keser is Ein Sof. And to the Ein Sof, everything is worthless. Everything is meaningless. Everything is absolutely, utterly insignificant. So all the achievements and all the beauty of Malchus, the Shekhinah could be beautiful, and all of her achievements and all, it will not in any way stimulate Keser, because the whole idea of Shekhinah is that she's source of the world. Worlds are nothing. Not only is Malchus nothing, the spheres above Malchus are considered nothing compared to Keser. So what could she do possibly to stimulate a hashpah from Keser? The answer is, everything is nothing in front of Keser. The only thing that's something is nothing. That's the idea. Nothingness, for whatever reason, is stimulating to Keser. In other words, when someone is in a state of absolute abnegation and bittul, dafka, the bittul of nothingness, stimulates Keser. And that's what he's saying. The nullification of the moon. This that she does, that all month long, she's busy accomplishing and achieving based on who she is and what she does. You know, she's all the accomplishments, like we say in Eishes Chayil, everything special about the woman of valor, which is really referring to the Shekhinah. All of her great deeds, it's wonderful. We praise her, Vayalu, Basharim, Masel, her everything. But that's nice. But in order to evoke and to stimulate this new hashpah, it requires dafka, her nullification. This that she hides and she's concealed. And when there's nothing left even in a kuda. Magia dafka, that nullification, that reaches the B'chenes HaKeser Shalamayla Mishtalshalos, that reaches the Keser that's beyond the Hishtalshalos, beyond the progressive order of worlds. Which from there comes al yedei bina, through bina, hakoyach, the power, al yichud shimsha v'zihara, for this yichud, for this unification of sun and moon. The unification of sun and moon would never be able to be achieved. Oh, sitzt da you, ich lerne Chassidus too. So this yichud, they came about the best of Maimer. The yichud of Shimsha v'Sihara, of the sun and the moon, is triggered by the bittul of the moon of Erev Rosh Chodesh, Machar Chodesh. So that's the idea. That's the connection of Machar Chodesh to David, to Shaul HaMelech, telling to Yonasan, saying, what is Yonasan? Yonasan is saying to Shaul HaMelech, what is he saying to him? He's telling him, Machar Chodesh, tomorrow is going to be Chodesh, which is, tomorrow is Rosh Chodesh, tomorrow is tomorrow is going to be the Yichud. That's what Rosh Chodesh is, as we spoke earlier. Tomorrow is going to be the Yichud. But in order for the Yichud to happen, because your seat is going to be vacant, which means because the moon is going to disappear in the sky, because you're avoida, not of accomplishment. The main nekuda we learned, it's not an avoida of accomplishment, it's an avoida of bittul. Because of your avoida of bittul and the nullification, that dafka that is ma'oider the ein soif, is ma'oider keser, and in order, let me just say this one little chazara. What he's saying is that when a chassan gets married, they go under the chuppah. They go under the chuppah because be'etzem the mashpia and the makabel have a richuk ha'erech shaloi be'erech. The mashpia is much higher than the makabel. Why would he be mashpia to the makabel? There has to be a gain that he's getting. And the idea is that the tzairach ha'ashpah to the makabel, he receives a hashpah from keser. The chassan receives a hashpah from keser, and that gives him the inspiration. That's why he goes under the chuppah, and the chuppah is keser. It's a makif. And that gives him the ability, l'chadoidi likras kala, that he should go and be mashpia to the kala. So, this is the idea. Shaul HaMelech is bina. David is malchus. Yonasan says to David HaMelech, tomorrow is Rosh Chodesh. It's your Inyan. You, David HaMelech, you're shayach to Rosh Chodesh, because you're malchus. And tomorrow, v'nifkadata, means you're going to be remembered. But v'nifkadata also means there's going to be a yichud. V'nifkadata, you're going to have a yichud tomorrow. That's a new moon. A new moon is the sun shines on the moon. There's a yichud between Shimsha v'Sihara, between the sun. So the sun is going to shine. There's going to be a yichud between the sun and the moon. But why is it going to happen? Because v'nifkadata, because an erev Rosh Chodesh. Oh, so here's the thing. We're saying that a sinas koyach for the yichud of chassan and kala, of Zoh and Malchus, is dafka, is from Keser. The shaila is, what stimulates Keser? Keser is the Orein Seif. Keser is the belief. Keser is not, as we spoke earlier, is not impressed with anything. Because anything you can, any achievement, any kind of achievement is meaningless because any gevul is meaningless to Keser. Because the oir of the Eibishter hasn't yet contracted yet to take notice of the world. He's beli gevul. So the worlds are nothing. So the only thing that can trigger hashpah in Keser is dafka nothingness. Anything that something can because any something is not impressed with. Only the bittul. That's why what triggers the yichud of Rosh Chodesh is the avoid of Erev Rosh Chodesh. Erev Rosh Chodesh is the avoid of tshuva. Erev Rosh Chodesh when a person feels, what did I do the entire month? It's a bittul. It's a avoid of like disintegrating of everything. It's a total disintegration of everything that you have. It's a Yom Kippur. It's a disintegration of what was. So a person feels like I'm worthless. That avoida, that bittul, that decaying of the seed, so to speak, and it's reflected in the moon becoming totally bottle and non-existent. That's what causes hashpah from Keser, which, by the way, the hashpah from Keser goes through bina. Like we say, imay is bina. She's receiving the atara from where? From Keser. But let's the chasana of Zoh and Malchus. So on Rosh Chodesh. So that's the idea. Shaul HaMelech, he's bina. As it says, Shaul merachayves anar. So what does Yonasan say? Yonasan is saying to Shaul, he's telling him, Machar Chodesh tomorrow is going to be, he's saying to David, Machar Chodesh tomorrow, Vinifkadata, you're going to have a yichud. But why is the yichud going to happen? Ki yapaked mashavecha, because on Erev Rosh Chodesh your seat is going to be vacant. You're going to have an avoid of bittul. That bittul is going to evoke that Shaul will have the yichud of, the yichud is not really between Shaul and David. The yichud is between the Zeir Anpin and David. But the koyach is coming from Shaul, who's bringing the oiros of Keser down into the Zeir Anpin for this yichud. That's what it says. Al yedei ze, even if kadet the David, al yedei Shaul. Hamshachas habina, the drawing of bina, Shaul menachayves anar. And through this, okay. So we're holding now on page Reish Chav Ches, the second paragraph. The second page. We need to understand what we're saying now is that the word v'nifkadata is both a lashon of zikaron, you will be remembered, like we said, pakod pakadati. The lashon pekida, and it means three things. It means lashon zikaron, a remembrance. The lashon pekida, it also means a yichud, like he brought the idea of chayav adam lifkoi desishtai, which is an union of pekida. The yipaked lashon chisaron is also a lashon chisaron. Ham l'chodesh neyafeichem. L'chora, these are two opposites. You're using the same word for two afeichem, because yipoked means absence. V'nifkalata means remembered. Remembered and absence, one of them is presence and the one is non-presence, is not being. The eich efsher, so how can it be, sha'al yedei yipoked, through an absence of being, yeh v'nifkalata should be dafka fakert, should be the v'nifkalata, you be remembered. V'af she'yipoked Moshe vech, zeh she'nechsar mokem Moshe kosher minyan abitl, and even though this that he's nechsar, it's related to the idea of bitl. V'habitl magia bekeser, l'chori, he just explained it. And bitl is something. Dafka bitl reaches the ein soif, reaches the highest. Like you say, dafka tefila la'ani, lifnei kiyativ, lifnei Hashem yishpech sich. Dafka the ani who has bitl goes all the way into the king's inner chamber. Those that don't have the bitl don't go so far. They get stuck in the outer rooms. Dafka the ani, right? So bitl magia bekeser, bitl we get a canal. Shememeno nimshach koyach ala yichud, which on it, in other words, according to the explanation we said before, is that the yipoked Moshe Vecha, which is the bitl, stimulates keser, and since it stimulates keser, it brings the which from keser comes the koyach for the bitl. Nevertheless, from this that it says yipoked Moshe Vecha, who sheyeh Moshe Vecha chaser, the actual type of yipoked is that your seat will be empty, vacant, lacking. Mashma. The zesha yipoked Moshe Vecha who tam al v'nefkadata. This that yipoked Moshe Vecha is a reason on the v'nefkadata. V'nefkadata ki yipoked Moshe Vecha. You can remember because your seat is vacant. Who loirak is not just lefisha yipoked Moshe Vecha kasherem inyan abitl, that yipoked is connected to the inyan of bitl. Elagam she yipoked Moshe Vecha atzmoi, the etzem chisarin. The etzem lacking, the chisarin, who tam al v'nefkadata. L'chura, it's there's two things. Bittel brings to an absence. So if the avoida would be bittel, so it's not the actual absence. It's the bittel. It's the avoida. It's the avoida of bittel that brings. But l'chura over here, it's mashma that the actual absence itself, the non-being, the chisarin, that itself is connected, is a reason on the v'nefkadet. We need to understand. How can it be yipoked, which was a chisarin, maybe live in v'nefkadet? See, it's not, there is a bittel that brings you to be chisarin. But, okay, so I understand. No, the bittel leads you to be vacant, to be chisarin, to be lacking. As a result of, when a person is doing his avodah, now the avodah of being mavatal yourself is an inyan that is ma'ir keser. But l'chura, that's the avodah of being mavatal itself, not the chisaron itself. Chisaron is lacking. Understand? The question is, for an ego to work on bittul is a gavaldig inyan. But that's the fact that you're doing the avodah of bittul. Kach ain't a movement, that's also not understood. The mezesh nemar yipoked Moshe Vecha, that your seat will be vacant. V'lo yechsar Moshe Vecha. It doesn't say yechsar Moshe Vecha. It should have said yechsar. So which word is it using? It's using the word lashon pekida. It's using pekida. Mashma. Sha'ashayches de v'yipoked levenefkadata, hu loirak she'yipoked mayvi levenefkadata. That the yipoked brings to the v'nefkadata. Because that would be expressed by v'nifkadata ki yechsar Moshe Vecha. Because your seat is going to be empty, lacking, v'nifkadata. But if it's using the words for the vacancy, for the emptiness, it's using the yipoked. Is mashma that in the chisaron itself is already the v'nifkadata. Not one leads to the other, but in the concealment or the chisaron of Erev Rosh Chodesh, in the chisaron itself of Erev Rosh Chodesh is the ultimate v'nifkadata. Ela shebiyipoked atzmoi yesh behelim. In the yipoked itself, there is already the inyan of the v'nifkadata itself. Not, that means that in Erev Rosh Chodesh, not only the next day there's going to be the yichud, but in the yipoked itself, why? Because of the fact that he's using the word yipoked, which means yichud, for the chisaron, right? He could have used the word chisaron. He's using dafka the word yipaket for the chisaron, is implying that in the chisaron itself is the yichud itself, is the yipaket. So we need to understand what is that. That's not what that's not the way it works. The chisaron, the avoid of bittul, will later stimulate oiras the keser, which will enable the mashpia to be mashpia to the makabel. Yeah, that's his question. Okay, so now he laid out that question. Now he's continuing. He continues in that mimer. The yoinason comes from two words. Yud Kei Vav Nosan. That's that. Which really is the Hashem's full name, Yud Kei Vav, and Nosan. V'isa b'ma'oire oyer. It says in ma'oire oyer. Shenosan b'gematria tov kuf. You look at Nosan. Nosan is gematria 500. Tov nun and nun 400. And another 2 nuns, another 100, 500. So that is hu hey achroina de Shem Havaya. So 500. That's the hey achroina of Shem Havaya. Why? Was hat Satan over here? Hey achroina de Shem Havaya with 500. Hey is 5, but what's 500? Ki hey bahaka b'gematria tov kuf. Because hey bahaka. Anybody knows what means hey bahaka? Maybe it's 5 to the power of 5 or something like that. What is that? Which I don't know how that works. Somehow we're going to reach from 5. I don't know what the power. It's only 4 times. Maybe 5 times. 5 times 5 is how much? 5 times 5 is 25. Is 125. Is already much more. No, go much more. So how does it work? I'm not exactly sure, but there's some kind of a cheshbon. And he's medayik now in the mimer. Oh, so therefore, so what's yoinason? So yoinason is the full yud kei vav kei, which by the way is very good because yoinason is talking to David. David is malchus, and yoinason is the son of Shaul. Shaul is bina, so he's the zeir rampin, and the zeir rampin is yud kei vav kei, and yud kei vav kei is saying to malchus. Umedayik b'hamayim. The lahapirisha beroiva makoimos sheyoinason hu yud kei vav v'nosan shebeyoinason. In most places, it doesn't say that nosan is malchus. In most places, it says that nosan is what? Nosan is just describing the condition of the yud kei vav. The yud kei vav are standing in a tnua, in a movement of nosan, of being of hashpa, of being mashpia. So yud kei vav nosan. That's the explanation in different places of what does yoinason mean. So there's 2 pirushim. One pirush is that yoinason is yud kei vav, and the yud kei vav nasan is in a state of flowing. It's flowing down, as opposed to it being closed and separated, sitting for itself. Then it makes sense because David is malchus, so you have the full thing, and malchus is the latter hay. So you're perfect. You have the Yud Kei Vav that are flowing, Nasan, they're flowing to David, which is the Hey. But if you're going to say that in Yoinason itself already, is already there the Hey, is that what's the David, what's the Moving Masha Kasev Vayomer Lo Yoinason. That Yoinason is talking to David. Ham Shacha me Yoinason le David. That Yoinason is being mashpia to David. Shah Yud Kei Vav the Yoinason. Nimshechu the Malchus is being drawn to Malchus, David, which is David. Aval a Piddish Ma'oira Oir. That according to the Piddish of the Ma'oira Oir, the Nosan should be Yoinason who Heyachroina. That Nosan of Yoinason is already Heyachroina, Hiya Malchus. Mahu Inyan, what's the Inyan of Ayomer Lo Yoinason? Hamshacha Yoinason le David, that Yoinason is giving to David. Had a Nosan the Yoinason, vid David am L'choira Hainahach. The Yoinason has already the Nasan, has already the David inside of him, because he has already the Nasan, which Nasan is the Hey of Hey Ba'akar, Gematria 500, which is Malchus. It's the same Inyan. Umevar. And he explains. The B'Malchus shtei madregas. In Malchus itself, there's 2 madregas. Because there's Malchus because Malchus serves as the connector between Atzilus and the lower worlds. So there is Malchus, where Malchus is in Atzilus, and it's called Zanov Laroyos. She's a tail to the lion. And Malchus also becomes Rosh L'Shu'alim. She becomes the head to the foxes. She becomes the leader of and that's when Malchus lowers itself down into Bria Tzir Nasir. So it's Malchus Shtei Madreges, Kamoishu who Soifa Atzilus, as she's the end of Atzilus, Zon of La'aroyes, the tail of Aroyes. Or Kamoishu Him Makar L'Biyah, when she becomes a source for Bria Tzir Nasir, Rosh L'Shu'alim, which is much lower. That's why we say you should always try to be a Zon of La'aroyes, V'alti Rosh L'Shu'alim. V'zau Achilik Bein Nosan V'yoynasan L'David. So now, the Rebbe Marash says, that's the difference between the Nosan of Yoinasan to David. The Nosan shu Heyachroina the Shem Avaya. Nosan is the Heyachroina the Shem Avaya canal. Who are Malchus Kamoish. What's the Heyachroina? Heyachroina means it's still part of the Yud Kei Vavke. So who are Malchus Kamoish who Soifa Atzilus. It's Malchus as it is still the end of the world of Atzilus. V'David who are Malchus Kamoish who Makar L'Biyah. But David is Malchus as he's David HaMelech. He's the Malchus. Is Malchus as he is the Makar for Bria Tzir and Asir. So according to that, the Inyan Vayoyim Lo Yoinasa. So what's the Vayoyim Lo Yoinasa? Who am Shachas HaMalchus Kamoishu Hu Ba'atzilus. Malchus as it is in Atzilus. Nosan, which is Nosan, Hey Achroina, which is the latter Hey. Which inside the Nosan is also the Yud Kei Vav, because it's one word, Yoinasan. There's Nosan, and embedded in it is the Vav, and inside is the Hey, and inside is the Yud. And all of that, Vayoymer Loi, Vayoymer, there's an Amir, there's an Amshacha to David. Vayadei Gam Amshachas Yud Kei Vav. Beha Malchus, Arayin and Malchus, Shu Makar L'Biyah, into Malchus, which is a source to Bria Tzir Nasiya David. Or Moisev Baha Maimer, and he's Moisev in the Maimer. The Shtei HaBechinoy Shebe Malchus Nikri B'Shem Yam ve'Eretz. These two Bechinoys in Malchus is called Yam and Eretz. Yam hu Malchus Kamoishu hu Ba'atzilus. Malchus, as it is in Atzilus, is called Yam. That's why it's called Yam Suf. Suf means it's the Soif. Soif of the Kol Dargan. It's the Malchus as it is the last layer. All the Spheros are flowing into Malchus. Malchus is the last of Atzilus. Shabonim Shochem Asfiros Deza. All the Spheros of the Ze'er Anpin are flowing. Shalamayla Malchus, which are all higher than Malchus. They are flowing into Malchus. They're flowing into Nosan, into the Yam. And what does a Yam do? It's kindness, all the water from all the rivers. How does a Yam? All the rivers, that means all the ashpahs flow. But what happens to the Yam? The Yam receives it and the Yam conceals it. It's all concealed and blocks it. That's why Yam is called Almadis Kassia. It conceals everything in it. All the flows from all the spheres, all the rivers flow to the Yam. And through this, that Malchus is koines, the influence of the spheres that are above it. Himalemes aleim, she hides it. Because here's the thing, Malchus acts as a filter, as a screen. If there wouldn't be spheres of Malchus, because what's the idea of a melech? A melech is merumam. A melech doesn't share with you his emotions, his feelings, because if he does, he becomes a pal, and then he loses all his power. The melech is an ish merumam, he's concealed, he's hidden behind the palace. So in Spheres, that means Spheres HaMalchus keeps all the deep inyanim of godliness hidden from the world. If Elokus would reveal itself to the world without Spheres HaMalchus, we would never be able to be nefradim. We would never be able to live in the darkness that we're living. We wouldn't have Bechira Chavshis. We wouldn't be an entity. We wouldn't have a Metzias. We'd be overwhelmed by the godliness that's creating us. We would still be we'd be a hemshech of Elokus. We wouldn't be able to be Nivra. So Malchus has to serve as a block. She receives all the ashpahs from above, but closes it and doesn't reveal it further. That's why the energy of Malchus that does go down to become a source of chayas to the oilamos is only an infinitesimal little crumb of Malchus as it is in Atzilus. It's mamish tremendously filtered, it's tremendously compromised from what it was before. But that's in order to create. But once David is already established and there's Malchus in the worlds, then we do want to widen that hamshacha. And that's the whole idea of Yoyim Lo Yoinasan, that Yoinasan is mashpia, and he's, in other words, a little unfiltered light. So there should be Gilui Elokus in the Oilamos, or else the Oilamos are dark and concealed and so forth. We want Gilui Elokus in Oilamos. So that requires that the Yoinasan is being mashpia to David, and that's the idea of Yichud. Right? Sha'malchus makabels v'konis b'toichas esfir shalamayim and hu ma'alem esalem she hides. Kidugma sayam, similar to the sea, shehu machasa masha metoicha, which conceals and everything that's in it. Vayedei zenim shechas ha'malchus, and through this concealment, a little bit malchus lios makarlis haves anavraim, to become a source to create the creations, which is the lower level of malchus called oretz. Pchenas oretz, which is oretz, and that's why you see by creation, it attributes the creating of everything to the earth, as if the earth is creating. The Eibush is creating. But it's the Sfiras HaMalchus, which is called Oretz, that's creating. Tachea Oretz, Toitzea Oretz. It's all telling the Shechina, Sfiras HaMalchus, to be Mahava and to create all the Inyanim. Umevar. And the Ufizah comes out. The Inyan Vayoyim Alo Yoinasan, who Ke'inyan Hafach Yam Le'abasha. Usually we know that these two worlds, the filter is a very rigid filter. Because if Chas v'Shalom you remove the filter away, then you're going to lose Oilamas. It's going to be overwhelmed by that. So that filter has to be in place. There was one time that the Eibishter meddled with that filter. And that was during the time of Kriyas Yamsuf. Kriyas Yamsuf meant that Hafach Yam Le'abasha, that the Eibishter removed, and he made that the Giluyim of Atzilus, the lights of Atzilus, were revealed in Bri Yatzir and Asiyah. That means the Madrega of Yam was revealed in Oretz. That the Yam became Yabasha. And that's why we know that the Kriyas Yamsuf was the greatest time of Gili Elikus. We got to see godliness like no other time before, even to the point that Rasa Shifcha Layam. Okay, so that's the Inyan. So similar to the Inyan of Kriyas Yamsuf, which Kriyas Yamsuf is the Inyan of Hafach Yam Le'abasha, that's the idea of a Yoim Elo Yoinason, Yoinason talking to David. Because Yoinason is all the spheres of Atzilus, Yud Kei Vav, all the way down to Nosan, which is Malchus, but Malchus as it's still in Atzilus. And Vayoim Elo Yoinason, Yoinason is communicating with David. It's the Inyan of the Yam element of Malchus revealing itself to the David element of Malchus, which is the in Olamais down here below. The Umavar, the Inyan Vayoim Elo Yoinason, Ruki Inyan Hafach Yam Liabasha, Shahoya Bekriyas Yamsa, which was Bekriyas Yamsa. Hi. The noise of Lam Shachas HaMalchus Kamoishi Hi Batzilus. In addition to the drawing of Malchus itself, as she is in Atzilus, Nosan, Heyach Roina, which is the Heyach Roina, Shenimshacha B'Pchenas HaMalchus Kamoishu Humakar Lebeyad David, which was connected and was drawn down into David, which David is the source of Oilamos, of the worlds as they are. Hoyagama Inyan Dafichas Yam Le'abash. Shanivka Helem. The Yam completely split open. V'nizgalu ha'oiris ta'asfiris ta'atzilas. And the oiros of the spheres of Atzilus were nizgala shebe Malchus. Because Malchus, as we said before, it's a Yam. It holds in it everything. And all of that was opened. K'moishahem ba'atzmusam. Not the way they come down in a filtered version. You see, the oiros of Atzilus are always operating in Biyah. How do you know? Sheishes Yamim Asa Hashem. On Sunday, the Eibishter shined Sfiras HaChesed. On Monday, the Eibishter was shining Sfiras HaGvura. And so on and so forth. Every day is another Sfira. The Chiddush over here is, what's the Chiddush? So that always happens. But there, it's a very minute influence. It's a very filtered influence. It's only a ha'ara. It's not K'moy Shehem Ba'atzmusam. The Chiddush of Vayoyim Elo Yoinasan is similar to Kriyas Yamsuf, where the Oiros of Atzilus were Nizgala in Biyah, K'moy Shehem, as they are. And now he continues in the Maimer. After David HaMelech was Makabel, the words of Yoinasan, the essential lights of Atzilus were drawn to him. As Omar Loi, so now Yoinasan says to David, Du hast Arbeitsetan. What's your work? Vishalashta Tered Ma'oid. Vishalashta Tered Ma'oid. So I don't know I didn't get a chance, I mentioned earlier, to prepare this mimer now. I remember I taught this mimer a few times in different occasions. But what is the simple meaning of a shalashta? Hold on, let me see over here if there's a Machar Chodesh over here. There is a Machar Chodesh of Torah. Shabbos Rosh Chodesh. Shabbos Erev Rosh Chodesh. So the word Vishilashta, in 3 days, Shloishes Yamim, that's what Rashi says. In 3 days, v'az teided ma'oid. When the third day is going to come, teided b'makom seiser. You should go down to a hidden place. You should hide very well. After 3 days, they're going to look for you. Okay, so you should go to that place. That's the idea of Vishilashta Teidet Ma'od. But he's explaining that's the simple. The Pnimius the Gepirish of Vishilashta. Omaloi Vishilashta Sheteyasa B'Pchina Segoil. A Segoil has 3 dots. V'yisam li Segula. Okay, 3 dots. Sheyesh ba Gimel Nekudos. It has 3 Nekudos. Sheroimes. What does that come? Al avodas habirurim. It's the avodah of birurim. Hainu yeridas hamalchus lamata levarer birurim. Why? The 2 dots on the top are representing the pirud that there is in this world. Olam pirud. Or you can say the chesed and the gevura as they are in a fall. You can say Esav and Yishmael. The two powers of things that there is. And a segar is that the dot goes beneath them. That means that Yaakov Avinu goes underneath, goes into Golus. He goes into the world of Esau, into the world of Yishmael. He goes into this world of pluralism and the world of where there is it's not a Rishus HaYachid. And he goes underneath to do it, to do a bitter. And we're going to see soon as a result of what happens to the Segol, as a result of the Segol doing his avodah, a Yidden being dafka in the world and dafka in amongst the Gentile nations and so on and so forth, doing a bitter, eventually the Segol turns over, and they themselves lift up, and it becomes a Segulta. A Segulta is where the dot is on the top, and the 2 are on the bottom. So the Vishilashta has 2 pirushim. The Vishilashta has the Yerida, go down to become a Segol, and then Vayisam li Segula Mikola Amim. From the bitter that you're going to do Mikola Amim, you're going to become a Segulta. Shegam beSegulta yesh gimel nekudos. B'chena Segula, you will become Segula. K'mo shekasa Vayisam li Segula Mikola Amim. That's the diuk. Dal yedei ha bitter shemevared in Mikola Amim. Through the bitter that we're mevarer, that we're fixing from all the nations, al yedei zeh v'yisam li Segula, you will become the Segula. Okay, so that's the avodah. Who's the Shekhinah? The Shekhinah is David, Knesset Yisroel. And our avodah of Knesset Yisroel is that we go, that we didn't stay in Eretz Yisrael in Yerushalayim. Yidden with thousands of years went around treasure hunting. We went around to be mevared in Nitzutzis. This that Yonasan says to David shal yedei hayerida lepchena segol, through the yerida to becoming a segol levarer birurim, to do birurim, yis'ala lepchena segulta v'segula, you will be elevated to the idea of segulta and segula. Remember, the segulta is when the 1 dot is on top of the other 2. Hu beklalis inyam echad l'chura. It's the same idea. Why are you going to be remembered? Remembered is the yichud. The yichud shows on the highest light. You're going to have an intimacy with the Eibishter. You're going to be elevated to the highest place. Why? Because you're first going to be empty. And what's the yipaked? The avodah of birurim, to go into a dark place and do avodah in a place where there isn't a lot of spiritual light, there isn't a lot of godliness. It's a mesiras nefesh. It's an avodah of bittul. A person is surrendering to what the Eibishter wants him to do in this world, even if it's not as a geshmak beruchnias, because he has to deal with the rough elements of this world. So l'chura, what he's basically saying is v'shilashta teired ma'oid, which is talking about becoming a segol, and it has both the yerida and the aliyah that comes as a result of the yerida. L'chur, it's the hainahach, it's the same idea of the nifkadata. You're going to be remembered, which means you're going to have the ultimate aliyah. But why? Ki yipakid mashavecha, because you're going to go down and be mevatel yourself to do the avodah of birur. Ki dal yadesha yipakid mashavecha, yerida v'hester, the descent and hester, yivin nifkadata, you're going to be remembered. Elisha betchila amaloya inyan beklalis. In the beginning, he told them the inyan beklalis. V'achkachoyse bezeh pratim. So l'chur, it's the same inyan. It's just in the beginning he gives it to him in general, and then he's starting to specify all the details. Hein b'negeya la yerida. And on both ends. First of all, how strong the yerida has to be, how great the yerida has to be. V'shilashta teired ma'oid. It's not enough to go a little bit, gain. You have to go deep, deep, deep. V'yashafta, and where eitzala even ha'ozol. What's even ha'ozol? Ha-yerida ba'olam ha'asiyah. That's the yerida, when it says in Tanya, he describes olam ha'asiyah as a world mole klippes v'sitra achra. A place that's not, and we're telling the Shechina to go down, we're telling a neshama, the mistarangan and aguf, you have to go into a body, you have to deal with this rough material. You're dealing with even ha'ozol, with the stone. But that's the yerida. It's a tremendous yerida. V'hein b'negeya la'aliyah, and then b'negeya la'aliyah sha'al yedeya yerida. V'shilashta, that what? Sheyis'ala lebchina segulta v'segula. You're going to become the yisam li segula mikol ha'am. So l'chayra, it's a repetition of the inyan, but a little bit more explanation later. Tzarech lahav, now we need to understand. Jetzt darf man verstehen, so now we need to understand. That beginning of the Torah is Macha Chodesh, is Vayom Eloyoneson. The L'chura, at first glance, had a Teuchen of Torah, the Macha Chodesh, who, the Teuchen of the Torah, Shebechdei Sheyeh Moiled Alavana Malchus. In order that there should be the birth of the moon, which the moon is Malchus. Tzarech liyas tchila be'erev Rosh Chodesh. You need to first do your avodah be'erev Rosh Chodesh. Ha-yerida v'hester. The yerida and the hester. You paked Moshe Vech. And also, like it says later, Tered ma'oid v'goymer eitzel even ha'azal. You have to go down very low. The inyan v'yoyim eloyoneson shebetchilas haftoida. Hu adarab. Tachlis hashleimus ta'amalchus makor debiyah. Look, what are we saying? What's the whole theme of what we're learning over here? You're going to have it. Basically, the theme that we're learning over here is Yerida Tzarech Aliyah. In order, if you want to have the ultimate Aliyah, you first have to have Yerida. So he's asking a question. Oy bazoi, start with Machar Chodesh. Why are you starting with Vayom Eloyoneson? Vayom Eloyoneson is already the highest Aliyah immediately. Because what did we say? What is Vayom Eloyoneson? Yoneson is Yud Kei Vav, Nosam, is being mashpia to David. That means David in the Shechina, in Olam Abriya, in the Shechina is receiving an infusion of Vayom Eloyoneson. It's receiving the highest light. L'chorah, that infusion of that yichud only comes after the avodah. So why are you beginning the Haftarah with immediately giving you a Vayom Eloyoneson? So he's going to explain. This is the Nesinas Koyach that you get before the avodah. Now, the Eibush, there's two things. There is a first Asarusa D'Liela. First, you have it like Pesach. Pesach, you get an infusion from above. Then comes the hard work, which is Sfiras Ha'omer. And then afterwards, on Shavuos, you get the ultimate Aliyah. So this, and Sfiras Ha'omer is mamash the avodah of birur. The avodah, we said that going down in a low place and fixing is a person going into the crevices of his nefesh Bahamas and doing an avodah of birur 7 weeks, and this is the avodah till you come to Shavuos. But first, you need to have an empowerment. That's what he's leading to. Malchus, David HaMelech was the source of Biyah. Shemeir ba begiloi. It's shining in Malchus in a revealed way. B'chinas Malchus da Atzilus, Malchus of Atzilus. V'gam Amidos tezah, and even the midos of the Zeir Anpin, Canal Siv Beis are also shining because that's the Yoneson Yud Kei Vav. So l'chura, how does it fit? V'nekudas abir bezen. The nekuda of the explanation is shebechdei sheyeh inyan the yipakid Moshe Vecha. In order that you should be successful in your pocket Moshe Vecha. U'ba'oifen shal yedei zeh even if kadeta. Chas v'sholem, you're sending someone down into a dark place, you don't know if he's going to be successful. God forbid, a person can go down to do a biddur, and then chas v'sholem, he can fall into that place and not come out of it. So in order that it should be successful, and it should accomplish v'nifkadata, it should bring ultimately to the ultimate aliyah. You have to have a hamshacha first. That's why the beginning of Torah. Before we even begin to talk about Marcha Chodesh. First is Vayom Eloyoneson. It's bedugmas that it says before a neshama comes down, Mashbiyan Oisai. So Chassidus says that the word Mashbiyan doesn't only mean an oath, it also means Mazbiyan. Mazbiyan, they satiate the soul. They fill the neshama up with tremendous koiches. So we'll have the avodah. Shebetchila nimshach b'malchus makar de beyaha oires ta'atzilus. First, Malchus receives the oires of Atzilus. Through this, she's able to take the plunge and go down into the darkness, which is the inyan of Marcha Chodesh. the concealment of the Levana, which means Yipakin Moshevech. It's like the Jewish people not being in Yerushalayim, in Eretz Yisrael way back then, where they were a shining light to the world. They went into Galus, where they were trampled on and abused and all this, and their light, there was no covet for Yidden, there's no covet for the Levana. It's a tremendous bittul. But who did we do it for? We did it so that we can civilize the nations. Inyan Erev Rosh Chodesh, the Inyan of Erev Rosh Chodesh, Mocha Chodesh, Ula Achar Zeh Rosh Chodesh v'nifkadeta. So there's first of Vayomer Le'yonasan. That's the first in the Sinas Koyach. And then we can get to work. And then eventually we come to the ultimate Yichud. Now, according to what it is known, the tremendous diuk in the Maimara, that there's a tremendous diuk in the shaykhs of the Mamarim to the Zman that they were said to the time. Yeshloima, we can say the inyan are now this inyan. That the Hamshacha v'Yomer Le'Yonasan sheba erev Rosh Chodesh hu ke'inyan hafach yom le'yabasha. What did we say? That the V'Yomer Le'Yonasan is an asinas koyach, and it's like kriyas yamsuf. It's an infusion of powerful light. Hu mudgish be'ikr be'erev Rosh Chodesh Sivan. This inyan, that Vayomer Le'Yonasan, that Yonasan is a tremendous empowerment, that Malchus receives tremendous riches from above, is an Erev Rosh Chodesh Sivan. Hazman da miras ha-maimer. The Rebbe Marash said that maimer in Erev Rosh Chodesh Sivan. Why? The reason I'm learning this maimer today, I said right at the beginning, is because of what happened in Yerushalayim this Monday, when the nations recognized Yerushalayim as the capital of the world. I think, as we're going to learn further in the mind, we're going to see that this is the whole bitter of the Amim came to its ultimate, was the return of Malchus to Yerushalayim, the return to Shechina, to Eretz Yisrael, to the point that the nations are the ones that have to recognize that, and Hallelu Hashem Kol Goyim Ki Gavar Aleinu Chastei. So that, and he says it's Shaykh Dafka to Erev Rosh Chodesh Sivan. What? But he says, there's two Erev Rosh Chodesh over here. There's Erev Rosh Chodesh Sivan and Erev Rosh Chodesh Iyar. And he's going to explain the difference between these Erev Rosh Chodesh benegeya to this idea of Vayomer Le'Yonasan. So, when the Maimer was said by the Rebbe Marash, it was said in Erev Rosh Chodesh Sivan. Then, in Erev Rosh Chodesh Sivan, it's mainly emphasized that there is a Hafach Yam Le'Yabasha. There's a tremendous infusion of light in Malchus on on Vayomer Le'Yonasan. The Yuvin said, and explain why. Based on what's explained in other places. Be'inyan Gimel Chadashim Arishayim, Nisan, Iyar, V'Sivan. It says Benegei these three Chadashim. Da'atam sheb Gimel Chadashim Elu Dafka Niska Yetzias Mitzrayim. You don't have further anywhere else in Torah that it mentions Yetzias Mitzrayim by the 4th month, 5th month, 6th month. It only mentions it the Chodesh they went out of Mitzrayim, Kiboy Yatzasam in Mitzrayim, Chodesh Aviv. It mentions it by the 2nd month. B'chodesh Hasheni, Latzeis B'nei Yisrael Me'eretz Mitzrayim. It mentions it. This week, Parshat Bamidbar, it's B'chodesh Hashem. And then finally, B'chodesh Hashlishi, Latzeis B'nei Yisrael Me'eretz. When it talks about B'chodesh, B'yoyim Hazeh, Chodesh Aviv, it says, Kivoy Yatzasam Mitzrayim. Be'echad L'chodesh Hasheni, B'shana Hashenis, Latzeis Me'eretz Mitzrayim. And finally, B'chodesh Hashlishi, Latzeis B'nei Yisrael Me'eretz Mitzrayim. So these three Chadashim, it mentions who? Ki atachlis the Yetzias Mitzrayim in Yanoi the Chodesh Nisan hu matan Torah. In other words, these 3 months is really one hemshech, because the whole tachlis of Yetzias Mitzrayim is matan Torah, which only happens in the 3rd month. In Yanoi the Chodesh Sivan, which is the Chodesh Sivan. The Sfira Sa'omer and the Inyan of Chodesh Iyar. Chodesh Iyar is the only Chodesh that the entire Chodesh is Sfira Sa'omer. Nisan has Sfira Sa'omer, but only the 2nd half of the month. Sivan has Sfira Sa'omer only the first few days. But Chodesh Iyar is the Chodesh of Sfira Sa'omer. In Yanai the Chodesh Iyar, which is the Inyan of Chodesh Iyar, who are Mamutza. Chodesh Iyar serves as the Mamutza. Shal Yadai Boim Yetzias Mitzrayim La Matan Torah. From Chodesh Iyar serves as the connector from Yetzias Mitzrayim to Matan Torah. And that's why all 3 of them have the Yetzias Mitzrayim. V'apizeh Yeshloimer, we can say. Da Mavur B'hamaymer, She'inyan Vayomer Le'Yonasan Machra Chodesh. This that it explains in the Maimer, the Inyan who ke'inyan hafach yam liyabasha is similar to the hafach yam liyabasha. Who ke'maimer zen nemar b'Shabbos erev Rosh Chodesh Sivan. This Maimer was said in Shabbos Erev Rosh Chodesh Sivan. V'kivan shechodesh Sivan v'chein chodesh Iyar ba'am behemshech li'yetzias Mitzrayim. Since they come behemshech li'yetzias Mitzrayim, l'chein. Be'erev Rosh Chodesh the Chadashim Eileh, in Erev Rosh Chodesh of these Chadashim Mudgish, she'inyan v'yayim l'yaynas amacha Chodesh, hu dugmes she'inyan the Kriyas Yamsuf hagamar di Yetzias Mitzrayim. See, Kriyas Yamsuf is not such, it's not Stam Yetzias Mitzrayim, it's the Gemara of Yetzias Mitzrayim. In Kavana, Sivan is the Gemara of Yetzias Mitzrayim. In Kavana. But in actuality, the actual act of Yetzias Mitzrayim took 7 days. Because once it came. So there's a certain similarity between Shvish and Pesach. The Hafach Yam Liyabasha is similar to Chodesh Sivan in the sense that this is all a hemshech of Yetzias Mitzrayim. Okay. So that's why he's drawing a parallel between V'yoyim Eloyoinasan to the Inyan of Hafach Yam Liyabash. Okay, so let's understand that. But soon he's gonna differentiate that there's a chilik between Erev Rosh Chodesh Iyar in the emphasis and Erev Rosh Chodesh Sivan, a very geschmacke Inyan. The Yesh Loimer we can say Shegimel in Yanim Shebegimel Chadashim Anal. The 3 Inyanim of the 3 Chadashim Yitzia. What are they? The first one is Yetzias Mitzrayim. That's Nisan. Sfira Sa'omer is Iyar. Umatan Torah, which is Sivan. Hem dugmas gimel en yanem de vayom eloyoinasan v'nefkadet ki yapaked meshavech. These 3 months are dugmas to the vayom eloyoinasan. What are the 3 things? The 3 things are like this. First is an empowerment, vayom eloyoinasan. Then there is the avodah of going down, yipaked meshavecha. And then comes the v'nefkadet, the aliyah that's afterwards. So these are the 3 months. Pesach, Nisan is Amshachal Mamayla Lamata. It's the infusion. It's the Vayom Elo Yoinasan that comes before the Avodah. Chodesh Iyar is the Avodah of getting into your Nefesh HaBahamis, getting into the dark corners of your soul, into the deep places that need a lot of fixing. It's the Avodah of Birurim. You're dealing basically with the guy that's inside of you. You're dealing with the Nefesh HaBahamis. You're dealing with the Birur of the nations. We're soon going to see that after Sfira Sa'omer, what do we say? Which kapitel do we say? The kapitel all about Tikkun of the Ummos. It's a whole tikkun in the world because you're doing a tikkun. Yetzias Mitzrayim Shabbat, Yedei Amshachal Mamayla, Yetzias Mitzrayim, which comes through as Amshachal from above, Al Derech Inyan, the Vayom Eloyoinasan. This is Vayom Eloyoinasan. Canal, as we said earlier. Sham Shachad, the Vayom Eloyoinasan, who Al Derech Inyan, the Kriyas Yamsuf. It's Vayom Eloyoinasan, similar to Kriyas Yamsuf, it's Shaykh to Chodesh Nisan. Hagamar di Yetzias Mitzrayim. Vayom Eloyoinasan is similar to the Gemara of Yetzias Mitzrayim. Hafach Yam Liyabasha. The Giluyim of Atzilus, the revelations of Atzilus, the lights of Atzilus on his gala to infuse us. Sfira Sa'omer, the second avoid, the Chodesh Hasheni, Sfira Sa'omer, Hayerida, the Nefesh Elikis, the descent of the godly soul, V'hislapshusa b'Nefesh HaBahamis, and this that it encloses itself in the animal soul, B'chdei levarer amidos the Nefesh HaBahamis, in order to do a bitter in the midos of the Nefesh HaBahamis. Al derech inyan the v'yapaked mashavecha. It's like the Shechina going into a dark place. The shalashta tered ma'oid. You're going down very low. B'chdei levarer birurim. It's in order to go do a bitter. And then finally, v'hagilui the matan Torah shabola achrei avodas habirurim. The anoichi Hashem alekecha, the giluyim olmayla that happened on Shavuos. The Sfira Sa'omer. Shehu naile yoiser gam hagilui the Yetzias Mitzrayim. Matan Torah was even greater than the giluyim of Yetzias Mitzrayim and Kriyas Yam, so shalifnei avodah. Because that came before the avodah. Al derech inyan, the v'nifkadata, so this is similar to v'nifkadata, shala achrei yipakid mashavecha, which comes after yipakid mashavecha, after the avodah. Shehu naile yoiser gam hagilui the vayom eloyoinasan. We know that the v'nifkadata is higher than the vayom eloyoinasan. Because the vayom eloyoinasan is the Serusa de Le'ela, the assistance from above, before the Avodah. And this is coming after Shalifnes. Now, Pisa Yesh Loimar, based on this, we can say, the Be'erev Rosh Chodesh Sivan and Erev Rosh Chodesh Sivan, Hadgasha the Vayom Eloyoinasan, the emphasis of Vayom Eloyoinasan, who be'ikr b'negei lezeh, shal yedei hamshacha the Vayom Eloyoinasan. Through the empowerment of Vayom Eloyoinasan, Nimshach hanasinas koyach ala inyan de v'nifkadata. See, there's two inyanim. This Vayom Eloyoinasan is the Eibishter's empowerment. But what is that going to affect? It's going to affect 2 things. It's going to give you the koyach for the yerida, but it's also going to give you the koyach for the aliyah that comes after the yerida. So therefore he wants to differentiate like this. In Erev Rosh Chodesh Sivan, the Vayoyim Alayonason, the Serusa D'Liela that's coming then, is Be'ikr and Asinas Koyach for the Aliyah that's coming after the Yerida. For the Inyan of Chodesh Sivan, that's Chodesh Sivan. Chodesh Sivan is the Aliyah that comes after the Yerida. The Vayoyim Alayonason of Erev Rosh Chodesh Iyar is Be'ikr and Asinas Koyach for the Avodah itself. The Avodah of the Tikkun of the Nefesh Bahamas, of the bitter of the rectification. Because that's what Iyar is. In both, what? The Yerida brings the Aliyah, but you need a Nesinas Koyach for it. See what I'm saying? You need a Nesinas Koyach both for to be able to do the Avodah, and you need a Nesinas Koyach that the Yerida should lead to an Aliyah. So you need both. Inyan Segalta v'Segula Sheba v'Shilashta. This is the Inyan of the Segulta of the V'Shilashta. Ikamavu Aba Maimer, as explained in the Maimer, Hashayches the V'Shilashta Teiret Ma'oid L'Kriyas Yamsov V'Yoyim L'Yoynesel. That what? The Pirish V'Shalashta Teiret Ma'oid V'Yashafta Eitzel Even Ozel. This that it says V'Shalashta, you will go down and you will sit. Hu she'inyan the Segulta Segula Shenimshacha Yedei HaBirudim. We said that after you do the birudim in the world, you become a segulta. Yumshach lamata teired ma'oid ad ba'asiya even ha'ozel. It's like this. The Indian is, when we're speaking about an aliyah in Chodesh Sivan, we don't mean an aliyah just. But it means that the aliyah, all the nyanim that we attain, should be nisgala also lamata down here. So therefore, it means that the segulta should be teired ma'oid. The brach, the anoichi avai Hashem alekecha, the highest revelations of Matan Torah should be able to manifest in Even HaOzel down here in Olam Asiyah. Al derech hagilui de Kriyas Yamsuf, similar to Kriyas Yamsuf, shenimshach gam bedarges hatachtoines. Kriyas Yamsuf wasn't only felt by the tzaddikim and the Himmelish Olam Asiyah. Kriyas Yamsuf was felt down here in the physical realm. The Asiyah, as it says, ra'asa shifcha, that even the shifcha saw. That's the V'yayim Eloyina son of Erev Rosh Chodesh Sivan. Erev Rosh Chodesh Iyar and Erev Rosh Chodesh Iyar had Gasha. The emphasis, the V'yayim Eloyina son, who beikar shal yedei zeh nimshach hanasinas koyach ala inyan the yepakid mashavech. On the inyan of the avodah itself, inyan segoil shebe v'shilashta. We said before that shilashta has two pirushim. Shilashta is become a segoil, and then afterwards become a segulta. So in Chodesh Iyar, the Ikar Inyan is V'yisam li segula. And in Chodesh Iyar, the Ikar Inyan is V'yisam li segoil. In other words, the avoid of being a segoil. Avoid of sabirunim, which is the avoid of birur itself. V'yash l'kasha zeh, we can connect this. And Masha Kosev at Tzemach Tzedek, just that the Tzemach Tzedek writes, B'rishimoisav l'tehillim. In his Rishimus to Tehillim. B'negeya, this is a Gishmak. HaMizbar lam natzeach beneginois mizmar shir. Sha'oimrim achas sfiras ha'oimer. After sfiras ha'oimer, we say dafka this kapitel til. Sha'kasav ha'alshach. So the Tzemach Tzedek brings that the Alshach says, Sha'mizmar zeh medaber b'yemois HaMashiach. That this mizmar is talking about Yemois HaMashiach. Sha'az yeshnei devarim. There's going to be two things. Shefa brachas toiv li Yisroel. It's going to be tremendous brachas to Yidden. Elokim yechoneinu v'yavarcheinu. The Eibishter is going to grace us, and the Eibishter is going to bless us. And the second one is v'yiskadei shemo yizbarach ba'olam. The Eibishter's name is going to be sanctified in the entire world. That's the idea of ki tishpoit amim mishar. The second Indian. There's Elokim yechoneinu v'yavarcheinu. Yorepana v'itanu sela. And then ki tishpoit amim mishar. Yeah. In the beginning of the Mizmar, it mentions Mizmar and Shir. Mizmar al Inyan Arishain. Mizmar is related to the first Inyan, the brachas that's coming to Yidden. Elokim yechoneinu v'yivarcheinu. Shir al Inyan Asheni. That's what he says. That's what the Alshach is mafarish. After the Tzemach Tzedek quotes the Alshach, maybe Masha Kasab Lakuti Torah. So if the Ramaschal is Mashiach Hanukkah Sabayas, He brings what it says in Likutei Torah in the Maimer, Mizmor, Shir, Chanukah Sabayas, where you have the same two inyanim, Mizmor and Shir. And what does he say? The Mizmor hu Shir HaMalachim. Mizmor is a song of Malachim. The Shir hu Shiras HaNeshamas. And Shir is the song of Neshamas. Okay? U'lechoira HaKavana. Kumta is the Kavana. The Masha Kasava Al Shech Shem Mizmor Al Inyan Arishon. Shefa brachas li Yisroel, just abundant brachas to Yidden. V'shir al inyan hasheni ki sishpet amem mishair hu al pidrush. That's al pidrush. Ki yedua sha'arizal amar olav. It's known that the Arizal said about the Alshich shenishmas ayuma olam adrush, that his neshama comes from olam adrush, and that's why he would fall asleep when he would come to learn Soid. He wasn't able to handle it because it wasn't his Indian. But based on what it says in Likutei Torah, that the Mizmor is the Shir of Malachim and Shir is the Shir of Neshamas, we have to say it's the opposite. That Shir is on the brachas that are coming to Yidden, because the Malachim, here's the thing, the Malachim, they're the Shirish of the Ummos. So if this Mizmor is a tikkun on the nations, so the Malachim are the ones who are Mizmor on that Indian, and the Shir must be the Shir of the Neshamas on the brachas that are on Elokim Yechaneinu Vivarchenu. Miyusad al Kabbalah. The Alter Rebbe is Likutei Torah is the Miyusad al Kabbalah Soid. Shem Mizmor hu Shiras HaMalachim. That Mizmor is the Shir of Malachim. I wrote on my Shavuot schedule, I wrote that we're going to have Pshat, Remez, Drush, and Soid. So what was the Soid? So I wrote that I'm going to speak Kabbalah, Pshaninyan and Kabbalah. So someone asked me, 2 hours ago, before the Shir, someone texted me, which Maimer are you giving over? So I said, Maimer is not Soid. Mamarim is the fifth target already. Razin de Berazin. Soid is Kabbalah. So it's funny that so here he says, Apiyam Avur B'Likutei Torah, Miyusad al Kabbalah. Soid. So a reference to what I was talking about earlier. It's Miyusad al Kabbalah. It's deeper. The Rebbe says it's the fifth level. It's Yechida. It's much higher than the 4 dargas. It's the Kutzay Shel Yud. It's not there. Shamizmor Shiras HaMalachim. V'shir Shir HaNeshamas. And Shir is a song of Neshamas. So the Chloima we have to say, Shamizmor Shayach L'chisishpoit Amim Mishair. Mizmor Shayach to the Amim. Ki Ashpol L'umay Sa'olam Huma HaMalachim. That's from the Malachim. Al Yedeya Ayin Sarim. Coming, starts with the Malachim, but then it goes down to the Ayin Sarim and eventually down into the nations. The Shir Shayach LaHashefa Shayushpali Yisroel. A Shefa that comes to Yid. Mamshech HaTzemach Tzedek B'Rishim Moisav. The Tzemach Tzedek is Mamshech in his Rishimus. The reason we say this Achaz Inyan Sfiras Ha'omer or Bir Zayin Amidois the Nefesh Bahamas. Sfiras Ha'omer is the Inyan of Bir of the Zayin Midois of the Nefesh Bahamas. The Shirish Nefesh Bahamas Umachayas Amerkava. The Nefesh Bahamas has a shaykhis to the it's a behema, so it comes from the Malachim. It comes from the Chayas Amerkava Malachim, and then Inyan Mizmor. And like we know, I mentioned it many times, that the Alter Rebbe's famous story with Reb Shmuel Munkes when he came to the middle of the night, and he came to the door, he got clapped off in tear, and he said, he was looking, and he said he wants to go to the Rebbe, came to and he saw that one house is giving lichtik. He says lichtik does the Rebbe. So he came over there, he knocked on the door, and he said he wants to come in. The Rebbe said, I'm sorry, you have nowhere else to lodge, go find yourself a place to stay. He said, the Rebbe let me in. They told him to leave. He wasn't gonna, so the Rebbe said, if you're not going to leave, I'm going to call security. Basically, the Rebbe said, I'm going to call my guy. He's going to chase you away. So he broke out crying, and he said, the Rebbe, my guy is aggressive and dying guy. And basically, that's why I'm here. I have to deal with a big guy. So Rebbe, please help me. So the idea over here is that the Nefesh Bahamas inside of us is shaykh to the Ummos. That's what it is. When we do a rectification now in Nefesh Bahamas, automatically we're rectifying the nations. Because they come from the Malachim, and the Neshamas and the Nefesh Bahamas also comes from the Malachim. So that's Inyan Mizmor. V'ayedeya bitter v'aliyah the Nefesh Bahamas. Okay, so the L'choira Sfiras Ha'omer is the L'choira only shaykh to Mizmor, not the Shia. But the Nekuda is, that's what we're learning in the Maimer, through this that the Nefesh Elikis goes down to him do a tikkun the Nefesh Bahamas. kommt sie an aliyah. It's adding a tremendous aliyah in the nefesh elikis, in the neshama. So the inyan, v'ayedei ha'bidur v'aliyah the nefesh bahamis, nasa gama aliyah the nefesh elikis, which is the second inyan, shir. Elikim yechaneinu v'yivarkeinu. V'yashloima, we can say, dezesh oimen mizmer zeh. This is this that we say, this mizmer shem, medabe be'inyan bidur ha'amim, which is talking about the bidur of the nations. Kipshuta, achrei sfiras ha'oimer. She'en yonei hu bidur ha'midas the nefesh bahamis, Shebe Yisroel, even though we're doing a bitter, but we're doing a bitter in our own nefesh Bahamas. Who? Ki al yedei bitter amidos the nefesh Bahamas nimshach gam bitter amim. Through a yid working on his midos that are not yet rectified, and working on refining them, that causes a refinement in the nations of the world. Ki sishpoit amim mishayer. It brings about a tishpoit, a judging of the nations. Means a refinement of the nations. V'apizah moving oid Yosef will understand even more. Shebe'erev chodesh iyar, chodesh the sfiras ha'omer. Mudgish inyan ha-segol shebe v'shalsheles. It's mudgish the inyan of the segol of the shalsheles. Habidir shemevaredem mikol ha'amim shemevi leve'isam li'segula. This is the bitter that we're doing. This is the descent into the amim, into the nations. Even though it's not shy, because someone can say, what does it have to do with the nations? It has to do with our own Nefesh Bahamas. But he says the two are linked. So when you're doing a bitter in your Nefesh Bahamas, it's a bitter in the nations. And from there, V'yisam li segula mikol ha'amim. You're elevated from all the nations. V'hine, siv perik vav. K'moisha b'sfiras ha'omer, just like sfiras ha'omer. Al yedei aliyah the Nefesh Bahamas, mizmor. Nasa aliyah the Nefesh Elikis. Also produces an aliyah the Nefesh Elikis shir. Al derech zeh be Yamoisa Mashiach. The same inyan is in Yamoisa Mashiach. The mizmor zeh medaber beikar be Yamoisa Mashiach. This mizmor is beikar speaking Yamoisa Mashiach. Al yedei sheyiskadesh shemo yizbarach ba'olam. Hear this. This that the Eibishter's name is going to be sanctified in the world, which in my opinion happened in a very big degree on Monday. There was we heard the speaking, they're saying over there clear they're saying. They're saying God has done for the Jewish people. And they're praising the Eibishter, hallelujah. The guy's screaming, hallelujah, the guy is saying. He's screaming, I don't know if you saw it, it's unbelievable. He's screaming for the miracles that you've done for your people. And he's representing millions of Americans, this guy. And in there he's saying that, and it never happened in history, that the guy is praising the Eibishter for the nisim he did for Yidden. So al yedei sheyiskadesh shemo yizbarach ba'olam ki sishpoit amim mishar, and that the nations were the one who did it. Al yedei zeh yitoisef b'ashefel Yisrael. So now we can expect tremendous hashpahs for Yidden. Da'agam, even though she'inyan ha-birurim, the inyan of birurim, shal yedei zeh nimshach ha-giluyu achshav. The giluyim are now. I'm sorry. The avodah of birurim we do in the time of Galus. Now, the inyan Yamoisa Mashiach and the inyan of Yamoisa Mashiach, who am shachas hagiluy shela achrei avodas habirurim. It's the giluyim that happen after the work is over. Makom makom al yedei ki sishbeit amim mishoy the yiskadesh shemo yizbarach ba'olam oz, through the aftermath. See, this is what I've been. All the avodah we've been doing through thousands of years is finally showing itself in the United States of America and the current government with President Trump. And this whole idea that he's fighting and he turns around the entire world, and he goes against all of them. And what is he doing? He's doing only one thing. One thing he's doing. He's defending the Jewish people. Take a look at this Nikki Haley in the UN. Unbelievable. Fighting like a ferocious lioness. And protecting who? Protecting Yidden. Don't lie anymore. Don't condemn the Jewish people. Don't. It's unbelievable. So what's that? The Kiddush Hashem is going. Yetoisef oid yoiser b'hamshacha v'hagilui Yisrael. There's going to be even, in other words, even though it's be'ikr, the hard, difficult labor that happens during the time of Golus, but it's also, once Mashiach starts coming already in the world, and we start seeing a Kiddush Hashem to the nations, that itself will increase tashpah to Yidden. Legabe yitoisev oid yoiser b'hamshacha v'hagilui Yisrael. The Kiddush Hashem le'enei ha'amim is going to add more hamshacha and giloy to Yidden. Legaba hamshacha v'agiloy shetia oz al yedei avodas haberurim achshav. Now there's two levels. There is the tremendous giloyim that are going to happen as a result of our avoiding golus b'chlal. But there's going to be an added oomph that's going to come, that's going to add on like an icing on the cake as a result of the Kiddush Hashem that's going to happen le'enei ha'amim when Mashiach comes, and that's going to add more giloy for Yidden. Elechei nemar mizmor shir. It says mizmor shir. Mizmor lifnei shir. Why is mizmor before shir? Hagam shemedaber beikar b'yamayis Mashiach. L'chura is talking only beikar yamayis Mashiach. If inya mizmor hu kisishpait amem mishar sheyia oz. The inyan of mizmor is this is the kisishpait amem mishar that's going to be then. So l'chura that inyan is going to happen after Elikim Yochaneinu Vivarcheinu. So the kisishpait. So l'chura the mizmor should be after the shir. Ki gam oz yeh betchila mizmor, because even then when Mashiach will come, the mizmor is going to increase the shir. Val yada yeh haisafa b'shir. Through the mizmor there's going to be haisafa in the shir. V'zeu sheba psukim shel achrei pasuk rishon. Namer Elikim Yochaneinu Vivarcheinu lifnei sishpait amem yishvor. Oh l'chura frekt chashayim. If we're saying that the whole order is that there has to first be a tikkun of the nations, and as a result of that, there's going to be a much greater giloy for Yidden. Why does the kapitel start with Elokim Yochaneinu Vivarcheinu? It should have started right away with Yeducha Amem Elokim, and then Elokim Yochaneinu Vivarcheinu. Yesh Loimer, we can say the kivan shekavanes habriyahu b'shvil Yisroel. The kavanes for the sake of Yidden. How they move, and it's understood. She'ikere inyan the Moisa Mashiach. The main inyan of your Moisa Mashiach is not the tikkun of the nations. The main inyan of your Moisa Mashiach is she'oz yushpa shefa rav beruchnius ubegashmius liyisrael. There's going to be tremendous hashpah spiritually and physically to all Yidden. Ela sheshleimus hashefa liyisrael. The shleimus of the shefa to Yidden, who ayideshi yiskadish shemayus baruch ba'olam, that's going to increase the thing. So first you have to start off with what the kavanah is. What's the main? Why are we singing? Because Elikim Yochaneinu Vivarcheinu. But then we go into details already and saying that the Kiddush Hashem for the nations is going to increase the Elikim Yochaneinu Vivarcheinu Yo'er Panav. He's going to shine his face itanu with us, Selah. Lefnei Tishbait Amem Yishar, before the Tishbait Amem Yishar. Al derech hayadua, and this is similar to the concept. This whole idea of nations versus Jews, the Jewish people, and Yidden, is similar to the same relationship between Neshama and Guf. Right? Neshama and Guf, because Guf is more shaykhs to the similar to the nations, and Neshama is al derech hayadua, similar to the Inyan, the relationship of Neshama and Guf. The noise of l'zeh shar gilui alakush and nimshach la Neshama. In addition to this, that all godly revelation that will be given to the neshama, that will be drawn to the neshama, al yedei avodas b'Torah mitzvahs, through her avodah in Torah mitzvahs, b'yosim l'beshes beguf, while she wasn't clothed in a body. Hu gilui naila har b'yoser is a much higher revelation, ma gilui shahaya la koidim yiridas alamata, much higher than the neshama's taking Gan Eden. But the Gan Eden before it comes into a guf is much less than the Gan Eden that happens to a neshama after it was in a guf. So number one is that dafke da avoida in guf is what makes, what empowers everything. In addition to that, gam hagiloi shal yedei avoida the Torah mitzvahs beguf gashmi yeh beikar b'tchias hames. Not only is that the body creates the tremendous light for the neshama, but when the neshama is in heaven, no, the ikar Gilui Alakus will taka be when the neshama is in a body. It's not only through the body, but it's actually when the neshama will be in the body, that's when the neshama is going to have the highest Gilui. Kisha neshama tiyam lebeshes beguv gashmi. When the neshama is going to be enclosed in a physical body. Dahagam, even though shegam agilui began Eden, even the Gilui in Gan Eden, the revelations of Gan Eden, la'achre yetzias neshama mahaguf. After neshama went out of the body, hu naila harbe magilu de Gan Eden shahayla neshama koidim yiridasa, is much higher than the gilui that was to the neshama before the neshama came down. In other words, even though, forget about Tchias HaMesim, just Gan Eden itself, the post physical Gan Eden is much greater than the pre-physical Gan Eden. Because Lefisha Gilu the Gan Eden, because the Gilu of Gan Eden, Shalei Achri Dasa Beguf, after it came down in the body of Yitziyasam HaGuf, and after she left the body, Hu Ayadei Avoid the Torah Mitzvahs Beguf Gashmi. Since it comes through the Avoid of Torah Mitzvahs in a physical body, which that's where it has all the oomph. But Kol Makom, nevertheless, Iker Agilu Shalei Avoid the Torah Mitzvahs, here Betchias HaMesim. It's going to be far superior, it's going to be Dafka in Tchias HaMesim. When a neshama is going to be in a body, it can move in Gama Inyan the Tchias HaMesim Atzmai. As it's understood from the Inyan of Tchias HaMesim itself. You have to say so. Why? Because if you're going to say that the main Gilui is for the neshama up there, then why would you take the neshamas that are already there and throw them back down into bodies? The Akimu L'Tchiyah L'Kol Yisroel Al Yidin will get up. Gama neshama shenim tzom began Eden kama alafim shana. Even neshamas of tzaddikim that are in Gan Eden thousands of years. The Gimel Palmim B'chol Yoim, and every day, 3 times a day, Hemisalam L'Darga Nailas Yois. We had this in Ayom Yoim just the other day. That 3 times a day, the neshamas are oila higher and higher. Every day it's a higher level, 3 times. For Alpha PK, nevertheless, La'asid Lava Yislapshu Begufim. They're all going to come down into bodies. Ki Agilui the Oila Matchia. The Gili of Oila Matchia, who Naila Harbi Yoiser, is much higher, Ma'agilui de Gan Eden, than the Gili of Gan Eden. Gam Darga Chi Nailas de Gan Eden, even in the highest Darga of Gan Eden. The Inyan who, and the idea is, the advantage of the avoid of the neshama when it's in a body. The gab the avoid is a neshama lamayla, compared to the avoid of the neshama above. Koidim sheyard lamata, before it came down below. Shnei biyurim beklos. There's 2 biyurim why the avoid in the guf is very precious. It's 2 biyurim, two explanations. Number one is despite the guf. In other words, the fact that you can serve the Eibishter even when you have a clumsy guf getting in the way, and yet you can perform so well, that's bringing out the tkifus of the neshama. That's one beer. Second beer is not despite the guf, but dafka because the guf. That there's something in the guf that's deeper even than the neshama. That's already a higher thing. Number one is shal yedei shaneshama avedes Hashem gam bi yoysen elabeshes beguf. Even when it's in a guf, gosh. This reveals the intensity of the connection of the neshama with the Eibishter. Even this tough resistance of the body and the animal soul is not able to nullify, and not even to make a giroyin, a diminishment, in the neshama's iskashus connection. V'alachas kama v'kama. Kisha'avoides haneshama lamata hu ba'av rabba shalamayla matam v'das. A lot of, when the neshama went dafka because of all the obstacles of the body, it fights, and therefore it comes to an avodah that's lamayla matam v'das. It higher than reason. Kamoy avas haben la'aviv. Like the love of a child to a father, that's dafka nizgala b'makam rachik. Right? Dafka from the distance, it's megala, it's the intensity of its bond with the Eibishter. That which is the etzem, which the neshama never realizes when it is lamayla. It never has to dig deep to discover that essential bond, because it can love Hashem because Hashem is lovable there, not because of its intense. In other words, there the neshama is enticed by all the godly revelations. It loves God because of it. Doesn't have to realize it's etzem digger verbund. It's etzem. In other words, dafken, when the neshama is in a guf, it's megala, it's love to the Eibishter that's coming from its essence, the essence of the neshama as it is one and rooted in the essence of the Eibishter. Bedugmas haben, just like a child, the child while he's still in the brain of the father. Because why is that Nizgala Dafka when the neshama comes down the mata? So he says simple reason. Because the darga of the neshama, once the neshama is already in Atzilus, which is compared to a child that has already been drawn out. In other words, the child has already been born to be an entity on his own. Then that hayarida lebiyah, the descent into the lower three worlds, Bria Tzir, and especially into a guf gashmi, umekolshken hayarida lamata ba'olam hazeh gashmi, malemes umasteres alza. That could be interfered with. That can be messed with. Ki yedu as it is known, sharak neshamas ta'atzilus nikre b'shem banim. That only neshamas of atzilus are called banim. And once it comes down, it becomes avadim. It loses it. So you see that the descent lower causes already a diminishment in the neshama. However, this that the neshama is able, that even when it comes down lamat, he bebchinas ben begilu, he remains a child. Whose love is an essential love that's beyond reason. Ka'av is ben la'aviv, like a love of a child to a father. Who al yedei gilui etzam haneshama. Dafka, when it's provoked and it's challenged, it causes the neshama to be megala, a deeper point inside of it. In other words, it's as if the child is not stam a child, he is the father. And therefore, no matter what kind of situation is in, he will act in a godly Jewish way, in a holy way, but because he's one with the Eibishter. In other words, on this level, Atzilus and Bria Tzir is B'Shavim, means everything is equal. Because the Eibishter himself, everything is, the Eved Nish Nespol from Kenim Nish. He doesn't become influenced by anything. So the fact that the Neshama descended from Atzilus to Bria doesn't impact the Neshama on this level. And to add, the Iker Gilui Dar Gezu, Etzam HaNeshama K'moshu Sheshes Ba'atzmus. The main Gilui of this level, Etzam HaNeshama, like it is Mushrish and Atzmos, who al Yedeya avoided the bitter v'zichur chaguf and nefesh b'hamas v'chelka b'yoylam, comes through the bitter of the body and the nefesh b'hamas v'chelik b'yoylam. In other words, first of all, we're still talking about the first Maila. The first Maila is, again, not the Maila of the guf, the Maila of the neshama that comes out by being in a guf. In other words, the guf forces the neshama to squeeze out its essence. Now the Rebbe adds that the Iker Gilui Dar Gezu, that is dafka, because when the neshama comes down lamata, it can be oisik in two inyanim. It can be oisik in ignoring the body and running away from the body, or it can be oisik in tikkun of the body. So the Iker Iskashras, he says, is nizgala when it's oisik in the tikkun of the body. Why? V'chelka bi'olam, and it's chelik in the world. Ki zeh sha'aguf and nefesh b'hamis einim yecholim lahaster ala avad haneshama shalamaylam etavadas. This, that the guf and the nefesh b'hamis are not able to block the tremendous, the deep love of the neshama that's beyond reason, who lefisha atzmas oirin soif shaboy mishreshes haneshama, who b'chol makar, is because the Eibishter himself. Why can't it be Mila? Why can't it hide? Why? You came up to a foreign land, you came away, so now it's a whole new mitzvah. This is your new reality. When you're in Rome, act like Rome. You're in a whole different world. Why? The answer is because I'm not in Rome. Why am I not in Rome? Because Eibishter is here. Oh, hold it. If it's all, the godliness of Atzilus is not here. Only the Eibishter himself is everywhere. So the fact that the guf can't fadrei the neshama cup, it can't blind it, is only to that level of Eibishter that's everywhere, and that's the etzem of the Eibishter. And that's why, that's why there can't be something that's being milam on it, because the Eibishter himself is everywhere. And the koyach of the neshama, to be mevader the guf and the nefesh b'hamas itself, v'lasos oisam kelim lalakus, and to make them themselves kelim, whom it may sha'atzmus oirin shoif, shaboy mishreshes and neshama einoi mugder b'shim geder, doesn't have any gedoris, shelechein gama guf, the nefesh b'hamas shemetzadin yonon. That's why even the guf and the nefesh b'hamas, which if you speak to them their language, what's their inyan? Mitzad hageder shalem einom kelim lalakus. Who they are and what they are, it's a wild boar. He's not shayach to getlichkeit. And the fact that you take this guf and turn him into a keli for getlichkeit, this is to to the koyach of the etzem of the Eibishter himself, who's not mugder in any gedarim, who can be megala in the guf and in nefesh bahamis, can take them out of their gedarim. So therefore what? Is as the fact that the neshama vertnish is spoiled from the guf, that's being megala, the atzmus oirein soif, that it's everywhere. But that's a lesser inyan than the koyach of atzmus himself that's not mugder in shum geder. And therefore, to him, even guf and nefesh bahamis that are not shaykh to be kalim for lakus, because he's not mugder, you can't tell him anything that he's not shaykh to. And he can take even an inyan that's not shaykh at all. In other words, it's not the fact that the Eibush is omnipotent and he's a kol yachol, can take even a guf that's not shaykh to anything and become a But this is all still what? Again, what we're seeing till now is that the guf and the nefesh bahamis is a challenge, and the mila that comes out from the guf and the nefesh bahamis is that because they're such an imposing force, they force the neshama to be megala the koiches atzmius of the neshama, at kedei kach, to be megala in the neshama, where the neshama is still one with the essence of the Eibishter himself, and that's why the neshama can take a body even and turn it over. No, it's only the Eibishter can do that. So how can you do that? Because you and the Eibishter are one. So dafke in the gufet this guy, when the neshama is in Gan Eden, when the neshama is in Gan Eden, before it came down, it's a beautiful neshama. He's a prince, beautiful, but he's already a Metzias. Other than that, he's a holy being. But when the neshama comes down over here and has to fight a ferocious battle, and not only is he not spoiled from the distractions of the guf, but he takes the guf itself and uses it as an instrument to serve the Eibishter, he's mahapach the guf. He's mahapach the guf. How can you do that? The only way you can do that is if it's nizgala, the neshama goes so deep and is megala how he is the Eibishter himself. He and the Eibishter are totally one. And Atzmos has no gedarim. He can make even something that's not a keli become a keli. But again, this is still not the ultimate, because all of this is still being megala, the koyach of the neshama, through the body. So the body is always a negative thing that provokes it, and that v'oid beer. But there's another explanation. There's another explanation, and what is that? The shoyrish haguf u'lamayla m'shoyrish haneshama. Here we turn the tables upside down. That be'etzem, the shoyrish of the guf is higher than the shoyrish of the neshama. The b'neshamas ksiv, because by neshamas it says banim atam l'Hashem Elokeinu, your children. L'chein ava ve'eskashres d'Hakadosh Baruch Hu Yisroel, the bond between the Eibishter and Yidden, b'tzad neshmasam, which is coming from the neshama, who al derech avas av l'bnoi, is similar to the love of a father to a son. Hainu, sheshoyrish avazu, the root of this love, who madrega, is from a level sheshaycha sham tfisas makom dahaneav. See, with the Eibishter himself, nothing is teifas makom. The fact that a child is teifas makom, and even though a child is not like a davar zar, it's not like a strange thing. A child is you. But still, I'm loving you because of who you are. The Eina, yeah. But, yes, I never understood that, so what's the answer? But in Chassidus it says that that's not mamash atzmus itself. The Eina ma'atzmusay mamash, because in essence, shebe-essence, the only thing is me. The fact that you are because mitzad their guf, huloi mitzad mailas aguf, he's not loving them. Gam lo ya maila de ben, not even this maila ben, because the guf is not a ben. Maila atzmis, that's a maila atzmis, but it's still a maila. That's the point. It's still a quality. Okay, but the fact that the Eibishter, the hiskashus that the Eibishter has with Yidden while they're in a guf, is not mitzad the mailas of us. Not mitzad the mailah. Why? Ela mitzad zeh she'Hakadosh Baruch Hu bachar b'haguf to Yisrael. Uvanu v'charta. Eibishter boicher given. B'bchirasei ha'chavshis. It's totally, as we discussed this many times, it's the Eibishter's free choice that he's choosing. And he's choosing because so he wants, not because the thing deserves to be chosen. And that's why the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya that the real Bechira is not on our neshamas. Because the neshama, of course, the Eibush is. A neshama, the Eibush love, because the neshama is, you can't compare Nishmas Yisroel to Chas v'Shalom Goyim. It's a whole comparable. But the body of a Yid, a body is a body. It's flesh and blood. The Eibush chose Dafka. These are the bodies that I want for Torah and Mitzvahs. These are the bodies that are mine. So that's a total free choice, not based on anything but for the fact that he chooses. Shebechira is mamish, even higher than the bechira of where the neshama comes from. And through this, that the neshama edels out the body, refines the body. So now the neshama goes higher than what it was before. Before he was a ben, and therefore, even though the Eibishter loved him with an Ava Atzmis, but since the Ava came from a place where there is Shaykh to be a Tfisas Makam of something else, it's not Mamish Eibishter himself, it's not Atzmis himself. But now that through the Neshama works in the Guf, the Neshama is koineh, the Maila of the Guf, that the Neshama doesn't have. The first beer, according to the earlier first explanation, the aliyah that happens in the neshama yedei avodas b'guf through its avoid in the guf, hu giloy hashoresh shalah. It's the neshama self-actualizes. It helps the neshama realize her true shoresh ba'atzmas eirin seif, in the essence of the Eibishter. That's also gewaldig. B'dugmas haben. It's being megala, this child, where the child is in the moyach of the father, terem shanimshach. Very high. L'bir hasheni, al yedei avodas haneshama ba'guf, nase ba inyan chadash. It's not just revealing a depth that's there. It's contributing a naya inyan, a new inyan that was never there. Hamshacha sa'atzmos, the hamshacha of the essence of the mamish rock solid atzmos, dealing with the essence, sheba essence of the Eibishter himself. In other words, because there's a pasuk that says gam ben ein loy, gam ach ein loy, something like that. There is a level where you can't say the Eibishter is a father, because a father is already a gather. So once he's establishing himself as a father, then there is nishmas Yisroel. But prior to him being a father, there's no gedarim at all. In that place where there's no gedarim, that's where he chose the body from. So therefore, dafka when the neshama does the avodah in the guf, it's this Allah in atzmos mamish in the, which is, and that's its gear. For yeshloima we can say the zesha yedei avodah san neshama ba'guf nasa ba inyan chadash, it gets a new inyan shalamai lagam shorsha, in which it's elevated higher than its shorish. Who ki habechira da Hakadosh Baruch Hu b'Yisrael. When we say in Tanya that the Eibishter was boicher the guf, it's not only the guf. Elegam b'hanashama. The etzem when the Eibishter chose the guf, he didn't choose only the guf, he chose the neshama. The zeh gufish hanashama sambanim la'akadosh baruch hu. This itself that the neshamas are children who lefishekach bachar b'bchiras hayachavshis. He chooses with his free choice to be a father that he's going to have children. Ella. The neshama that has the maila of the son, inyan habechira hu behelem. It's concealed because you don't get to see that maila that the neshama has. Why? Because the neshama walks around like a ganze yakshke bedam because he's a prince, because he's a child. So sometimes the maila covers on the essence. Like you see, I gave a lot of times the mashal of this. You see that parents with a special need child, especially if the child mamish is like in a serious condition, you see that these parents, you see they have a love to their child more than you'll see in parents to a regular child. Sometimes. Why? Because the children that have a maila, the etzem relationship between parent and child is an essential bond. It's not based on milas. But when a child has milas, the milas of the child cover up on the love that's be'etzem. The ava she'enoi tluya b'davar is covered up by ava hatluya b'davar, and you don't get to see that the etzem and ad kedei kach that the parent himself can get lost in the ava hatluya b'davar. That's why they get angry at their child and they'll disown the child, even though it's your child, because of the miles. And even though because they themselves lost sight of the fact that they love their child for no reason at all. But with a child that has no maila, at least the galoi, so there, the essential love, there's nothing to cover in it, so dafka, same as with neshama and guf. Neshama has so many milas, it's so beautiful, she's so pure, she's so holy, that it could, the milas that she have can cover up on the ava atzmas. But the guf doesn't have milas. And this, the fact it chose the guf is because so the Eibishter chose for no reason at all. So dafke in guf, the bechira of atzmus is begiloy in guf, but not in neshama. But when the neshama toils and makes a mensch out of the guf, it's koine, this mila of the guf, begiloy too. As he's saying, v'ayadei avodas haneshama uguf, shaboy bechira sa'atzmus ubegiloy, which in it the bechira of the essence of the Eibishter is begiloy, nimshech giloy zeh gam b'neshama. So now the neshama is koine this giloy. What's the difference? What's the chilik between these two biurim? Shalabir Rishon, according to the first biur, hagufu rakamoy memutza. The guf is only like a memutza. Shal yodei mizgala sheirish neshama. It's a means to an end, and in the end you can discard it. In other words, once you use the guf to be megala, you can discard the guf and let the neshama go to Gan Eden and receive, because it was nizgala. It's ultimate thing. Once we utilized and we got out of the guf for that which we needed to get out of the body, that we were megala the shayrish and neshama, ain't tzricha neshama laguf, the neshama doesn't need it anymore. And that's taka shita. Shitas Rambam is that the last stage is going to be neshamas without gufim. That's what the Rambam holds. But we know that the Ramban holds no. And Kol Chachmei HaKabbalah, the Shla, Kodesh, and Ari, all of them followed, and Chassidus follows the Ramban, that the ultimate station is Neshamas in Gufim. Why? Well, the Bir Hasheni, Gama Gilui Shenimshach La Neshama Yadei Avadasa Beguf, Hi Amshacha Se'inyan the Bechiras Ha'atzmus, Shashayach Be'ikar La'aguf. The ultimate advantage that the Neshama gets is something that's shayach to the Guf Dafka. And the guf reveals it and helps the neshama realize it, but dafka as the neshama is attached to the guf. Will be be'ikr by the resurrection. When the neshama will be enclosed in the body. We can connect this with this, that it is known. The neshama is going to be, now the body receives its life from the neshama. From the ultimate body, the body is going to give chayas to the neshama. It's going to give mazay to the neshama. Ki agilui she'iyah la neshama la'asad lavoi. The gilui that's going to be to the neshama la'asad lavoi, hu amshachas ha'gilui de b'chiras ha'atzmos. It's this inyan that it's shayach to atzmos himself, to the essence of the himself. Sheshayach be'ikr lahaguf. That's be'ikr shayach to the body. Take it with you. Now we'll understand in that mind. This that the pasuk compares the future redemption to the gula of Yetzias Mitzrayim, ki meit seis chomeres Mitzrayim and enter the flois. Who benegel Kol anyanim shahoyu b'Yetzias Mitzrayim is regards to all the inyanim that were by Yetzias Mitzrayim. Koil gam inyan de rechush gadol shahoyu b'Yetzias Mitzrayim. When Mashiach will come, we're going to get to the rechush gadol. That too. Arenu neflois is going to be the rechush gadol as well. U'kamoy shakol inyanim de gula asida yeh ba'oifen naila yoser. And since all the inyanim that are going to be in the asid is going to be even more wondrous, mekamoy shahoyu b'Yetzias Mitzrayim, even more. Like it's known in the Pirush of Arenu Neflois, Shaneflois sheyeh begula asida, the neflois that are going to be in the future redemption, yeh neflois gam be'erech haneflois sheyeh b'Yetzias Mitzrayim. There's going to be neflois. That means that the people who saw Yetzias Mitzrayim are going to be stunned by the miracles of the gula asida, of the up and coming redemption. Al derech zeh ubenegei la rechush gadol. Herste yasi yidden van sein gorach. Very rich. That the rechush gadol sheyeh ba'gula asida, the rechush gadol that's going to be in the geula, shu rechush gadol gam be'erech ha-rechush gadol sheyeh b'Yetzias Mitzrayim. It's going to be greater than the rechush gadol of Yetzias Mitzrayim. It can move in gam ezeh she'amar Razal. Chazal say, sholosh matmoini yis hit min Yosef in Mitzrayim. Yosef hit three treasures in Mitzrayim. One of them, whatever, and it says va'achas genuzol et tzadikim la'asad lavai. The ein inyan yoytze midei pshutai. Shahamatman hagonas letzadikim la'asad lavai. That this that was stashed away for the tzadikim la'asad lavai, who gam matman shall kesev v'zov gashmiyah. It's simply pashit, gold and silver, physical gold and silver. If you say to Mizay even more than this, Shebi Yamoisa Mashiach yekol ha-medanim mitzuyim ka'afar. When Mashiach will come, all the madanim, all the delights are going to be mitzuyim ka'afar. Kepsakt in a Rambam, like the Rambam says. But Tzarech B, we need to understand. How do you inyan the Yamoisa Mashiach hu, she'oz yeh mala aretz deyas Hashem, k'mayim liyamachas. When Mashiach is going to come, it's going to be a time when the world's going to be filled with kamayim liyamachas. So who cares if there's Narishkeit, Kesev, Izov, in a time of such enlightenment, in a time of such knowledge? Vinyanim Agashmi, what do you think the students of the Arizal that learned with him, Eitz Chaim, cared about Madanim Matzim Ka'afar, that there's chocolate cake over there? What's the Indian? Lo yitzvesu makim, it's bechlal nish teifes makim zayin. It won't mean anything. Va'at shelo yeh eisek oilam kuloi el das Hashem bilvad. It's going to be only to know the Eibishter. Umana geya sheyeh az rechush gadol. What's the geya that there should be then a rechush gadol? V'yashloim and abir b'zehedos a chidish nifla. It's unbelievable. The zesha haguf misaneg b'tivoi midvarim gashmiyim. This that the body b'teva enjoys itself with cheesecake and get the blinchkis that are coming. Madanim. Al derech zeh rechush gadol. And similar to that, the rechush gadol, who lefi shen yonim elu shaychim lahaguf. It's because these things have a shaychus to the body, mitzadin yonoi hapnimi. It has a connection to the body, mitzad the inyan of the body. V'ashlaychus shaloi ledvarim elu hu loirak mitzad hachumri yeshaboy. The shaychus of the guf is not because the guf is such an ignoramus that he doesn't appreciate anything finer, so he has a shaychus to all these physical things. No. The guf has a shaychus to these things because be'etzem he has a shaychus to these things. You hear that? It's not only a grobkeit. In today's world, it's a grobkeit. But be'etzem, it's not. It's not. That means for the guf to have a nice house, for the guf to have a comfortable setting, for the guf to have something that's pleasurable for breakfast, and something that delights it. In essence, if it's not in a state of klipa, it's not a bad, it's not an inya shlili. Adarabah, the guf has a shaykh. This is the body's world. The body, including the fact that Hashem chose it. No, Hashem chose the body, but He chose it to be a physical body with physical stuff that support it, that it's His world. That's part of the choice. Yeah, obviously there have to be, or else there's no milah to them. Yeah, it's connected to the Eibishter's choice in the body. Elegam be'ikr mitzad inyanei apnimi be'ikr. The neshama has a shaychus to these things mitzad the inyan apnimi. Like the Baal Shem Tov says that when you have a thirst or a hunger for something, it's because there's a nitzutz there that's shaykh to you. Elechein al yedei rechush gadol v'amadanim. You hear this? Through the rechush gadol and the madanim, yetoisef b'mola oretz deyas Hashem. The wealth and the madanim and the physical delights are going to add. Why? Because just like we said before, that the guf is going to add richness to the neshama, so too the madanim of the guf is going to add richness to the neshama. Al derech inyan neshama tiyan ezoynes maguf. That's why it says when Mashiach is going to come, your vineyards are going to produce the best wines and this and that. But it's not going to be in a manner chas v'shalom of a yishman yeshurin vayivat, that person gets fagrept. And I think that this is today's days already shaykh to the inyan of avodah today's days. Different avodah. Today, the avodah of iskafia is less than it was. Today we have to learn how to feel the Eibishter in every gashmistic sensation. Because that's the way it's going to be when Mashiach comes. And we're already transitioning into Mashiach. And looks like we have an asinas kayach, an ability to do that. I do part of it. I take the gashmis. I don't know if I'm finding the Eibishter yet, but but if you're not going to start, we're not going to get anywhere, right? Yossi? We have to at least start. Hine mavu bekama makoymes. This is, by the way, a source to an Indian that I spoke when I spoke about living in the days of Mashiach. I spoke mamash about this in that speech I gave in New York. I spoke mamash about this, and I didn't really know where my mucker is. Here's the mucker. See, earlier my guf knew it. My neshama didn't know it. Now my neshama knows it too because I saw it in the Maimon. My guf had ebe gewusst, as through this inyan of Vetzukim and Gainim. V'nei mavu b'kam makom is the zeh shayrish haguf l'mayla m'shayrish haneshama, hu ki neshama v'guf and dugmas oiris v'kelim. Neshama and guf are similar to oiris and kelim. The shayrish hakelim on the mayla m'shayrish oiris, and the shayrish of kelim is higher than the shayrish of oiris. The shayrish of the vessels is higher than the shayrish of the lights. So the guf, which is a keli to the neshama, is really high. Ukemoisha yedei hamshachas v'slapshus ha'oiris ba'kelim. Nasa Yisrin v'Yisafa ba'oiris. Chassidus always asks, why would the oiris go down into the kelim? Once the oir goes into a keli, the keli conceals it and limits it and constricts it. Why would the oiris want to even go into kelim? So what it says, that when the oiris go down into kelim, the oiris are enriched. Why? Because once they go down into the kelim, it's megala, the shirish of the keli, and the shirish of the keli is higher than the oir. Verstehst? So the oiros get enriched. So the same is also a neshama and guf. Through the descent of the neshama and its enclosement in the body. The neshama is elevated to a higher level, higher than it was before. Based on this, that is known. The zesha abriyu b'shvil Yisroel. This that we say that the creation is for the sake of the Jewish people. Hakavana b'zeh lo lak abriyas ha'olam, elo l'chol ha'giluyim. All giluyim are b'shvil Yisroel. Yesh loima. Da'atam ha'pnimi al zeh, she'shayrish ha'kelim u'lamayla m'shayrish ha'oiris. Why did the Eibush set up the entire Seder Ishtalshalis this way? That the shayrish of kelim should be higher than oiris. That's the system. But why is that the system? Everything, the Eibush does not mukhrach in anything. Why the Eibush? That too is b'shvil Yisrael. Shal yedei ha'kelim nasa yisrin ba'oir. So the Eibush set up the entire system that through kelim there should be a yisrin and oir, which is like cosmic on the highest levels. That's all because that's the way it's going to play itself out with neshama and guf. And that's the way the Eibush wanted it, because the Eibush nesava kadosh baruch hu is like dira b'tachtonim dafke in the guf gashmi, and since in guf gashmi the interplay between neshama and guf is going to be this way, that the neshama has to work in the guf, and through the guf it's going to be nizgala in the neshama, it's shirish and atzmos. So the Eibush set up already the entire macro to be all in that system. For the sake of Yidden. Through the neshama, through the oiris and kelim, we should end up with a neshama and a guf. And since the shirish of guf is higher than the shirish of neshama, the ba'agufu b'chiras atzmos, and guf is the b'chir of atzmos. L'chein esava oiris v'kelim, the oiris and the kelim were created in the same way. Ba'oifen shirish hakelim and l'mayla b'shirish ha'oiris. That the shirish of the kelim is higher than the shirish of the oiris. Elosha b'neshama v'guf, by the neshama of the guf. Zesh shirish ha'guf l'mayla b'shirish ha'neshama. This that the shirish of the guf is higher than the shirish of neshama. Who zesh ba'agufu b'chiras atzmos. Is this that in the guf is the b'chir of atzmos? B'chir Ropshetz, total free b'chir of ain't a shayach le'inyan a mailas ha'guf. It's not that the guf has a maila. It's something that has to do with the Eibishter. U'ba'oiris v'kelim, it has to do with a maila in the keli. Zesh ha'shirish ha'kelim u'la'maila ha'shirish ha'oilis shayach le'inyanam da'kelim. It has to do with the inyan of kelim. Okay, but that's already what? Doesn't explain it over here. Like it says in Chassidus many times that the mashal is higher than the nimshal or something like that. That's the idea. Because guf doesn't have a mila. It's not that the mila. There's no mila. It's the fact that the Eibush wanted it. Why you can't beam it? No, because if it has a mila, it ruins the whole Indian. You have to. The whole kinekut is that it shouldn't have a mila. Good. The zesh shayrish aguf u'lamayla shayrish neshama shayach gam le'inyan amaylas aguf. But once oiros and kelim are set up that way, that what? That kelim have a mila on the oiros, so then that later will fashion that since the guf comes from the kelim, so the maila that there is in guf taka gets a shaykhs to the guf. In other words, it's not in a manner that there's no shaykhs to it, it's only mitzad the Eibishter. Eventually it gets a shaykhs. So each one contributes to the other. And based on this we can explain the reason. The quality that comes through the rectification of the nations. We spoke earlier in the Maimer about the whole tikkun of the nations. That's why we're learning this Maimer now, because of the tikkun that's happening in front of our eyes in the nations. They come from the Malachim, and the Malachim comes from the Kelim. Yegam b'yamoysa Mashiach is also going to be after Mashiach comes. Why is that going to be? L'chura bishloima now, we need to do mivarad and nitzutzis. But once Mashiach comes already, who cares that there's going to be Gili Alakus for the nations? And Kiddush Hashem for the nations, and as a result of the Kiddush Hashem of the nations, that CNN is going to recognize the Eibishter, that's going to add more light to the Jewish people. Why? This, that through the Kalim there comes a Yisroel, and added into the lights, whom it may shayrish amiti the Eretz v'Kalim and Inyan the Neshama v'Guf, is the Neshama and Guf. And therefore, K'moy Shaliyah the Neshama Shayadei Guf, just like the aliyah of the neshama that comes through the guf, who loirak shal yedei avodas haneshama baguf, who misalis achakach lamadreges nailas yosim. It's not just that through the neshama working in the guf, the neshama later goes to a higher level. Ele shegama aliyah atzma de la'asad lavai hu shaneshama nezaynes maguf. The aliyah itself is the neshama in the guf. The neshama derives life from the guf, from the body. So the same is also benegeya to the Yisron that there is in Kalim, which Kalim is nations versus the Yidden, right? The same idea of nations in it. Where there too, it's not only that it's utilizing the nations in this time to get to a later quality that's going to happen to Yidden, but that the Maila of Yidden Bichlal is through and continuous with the nations. As the nations increase their... No, because he's saying that Inyan is only because of Neshama and Guf by Yidden. It's not Be'etzem. V'chein ha'yisron shal yedei, it's derivative. V'chein ha'yisron shal yedei ha'malachim sheshar shamhu ma'akelim. V'chein ha'yisron shal yedei birer umay sa'olam she'mekamlo ma'hamalachim. It's all one Inyan. She'yisron zeh yiyegam la'asad lavai. La'asad lavai, it's also going to be this way. Through the nations, the nations are going to become civilized. The nations are going to be mishar. They're going to straighten out. That itself is going to add a thing. So sometimes a yid wonders, like, why does the geula have to come in this way? The way we're seeing it unfolding in front of our eyes. We're seeing so much of the nation's consent to the UN, to the embassy, and to the thing, and to Yerushalayim, and well, who cares? It should be a giyur. Let Mashiach come from the sky. And he didn't go back to Eretz Yisrael, but he cares about the nations. The ganze nakuda is that it should involve the nations. And it's going to be actually greater that way. Because of the system that he explained over here with Neshama and Guf. Hina Yadua is no. Let's quickly finish. We know that the Neshama is not forced down in the body. Even though it says Balkarcha Chatachai, against your will you live, it still is a type of Balkarchai that the Eibishter gets the Neshama on page. It forces the Neshama to appreciate something, and the Neshama goes down. Openly, the Neshama goes down willfully. The Neshama feels and senses the Maila of the Guf, mitzad, sharshay, mitzad its Maila. Shashayrish HaGuf u'lamayla m'shayrish HaNeshama. The shayrish of the Guf is higher than the shayrish of the Neshama. That's why the neshama wants to enliven the body. This that Chazal say, it's funny because every single question that he's asking afterwards, quite a few are things that I'm speaking out, not knowing that he's going to say it, but I guess I'm running in the flow of the Maimer. Maybe because I taught it a few years ago already. Who the kibush ha'rotzen and neshama la'achis is a guf, who loy mitzad atzma. He's saying like this, that the neshama wants to give life to the body is not mitzad atzma that the neshama has an appreciation of it. It's because it senses the shayrish of the guf. It's almost like that hargasha forces the neshama down into a body. L'chein nikra zeh b'shem hechrach. That's called a hechrach. Al korchach atachai. Because it's not something that the neshama be'etzem has within itself. It's like your person being drawn by a powerful, scent or a power that's pulling you. So it's al korchach, even though you're going willfully. It's not, no one is forcing you, but it is forcing. It's pulling you. Yeah, kind of a thing. Yeshloima, we can say, the zeh neshama is margeshes asherish aguf. This that the neshama is margish, the shayrish of the guf. Af shehergish zeh eina shayich l'chayr l'inyanei da neshama. Even though the neshama, how can it be margish at shayrish of the guf if the neshama doesn't have a shaychus to that level? Ukumuvim is sharatzen, and as it's seen from the very fact, sharatzen shalal la'achis is a guf haba mehergish zeh. It's ratzon that comes from this hergish nikra b'shem hechrach. It's called a hechrach. It's called forcing. It's called compelled. Is the chasimin that it's not shaykh to neshama? So if so, how's the neshama being margish it? If it's not shaykh to it, in order that it should have a ratzon la'achis aguf, nimshach ba giloy shayrish aguf. Now the be'etzem the neshama has no shaykhs to it. The Eibishter drops the shayrish of the guf down into the neshama. It makes a drip, this into it. Even the neshama, as it is at its highest peak, has no shaykhs to the shayrish of the guf. Ain't a shaykhs legilu izah. It's not shaykh that is gilu. But the Eibishter is megala this to him. V'ayidei gilu the shayrish aguf shemeir ba'neshama. Through the gilu of the shayrish of the guf that's shining in the neshama, but oifen the hechrach al kopanim, in a manner of hechrach, koidim yiridas alamata, before the neshama comes down below. He nasis kamoy keli lahagilu the shayrish aguf. That creates within the neshama to become like a keli to the gili of the shemeir ba'achakach al yedei avodas ba'guf. Through its avodah in the guf, the neshama is going to work. But because it has a drop of that gili already before, makes the neshama sort of like a keli, and that it stops being a hechrach, it stops being an outside Inyan, it starts becoming an Inyan pnimi in the neshama that it appreciates the shayrish of the guf. And the same is also in Oiris V'Kelim. The Zeshal Yedei Yislapshus Oiris Bar Kelim Nimshach Be'em B'china Sherish HaKelim. This that through the Yislapshus of the Oiris and the Kelim, it's Nimshach in them, the B'china of the Sherish of the Kelim. Hu Yedei Shenirgash Be'em Oid Koidim Yiridasam Ba'a Kelim Sherish HaKelim. Even before they go down, they're margish the Sherish of the Kelim. The Yashloima we can say, the Kamoy Kenu B'negeya Le'inyan the Sfiras Ha'omer Matan Torah. The same is also regarding Sfiras Ha'omer and Matan Torah. The Zeshal Yedei Yerida the Nefesh of the Kis Levarin Amidus the Nefesh of Bahamas. This that through the Yerida of the Nefesh of the Kis to be Mavarin the Midus the Nefesh Yipakid Moshavecha, which we said earlier is called a Pekida. It's called a diminishment. Nimshach Ba Hagiluy the Matan Torah Metzad Mailas HaBirurim. It gets the ultimate Giluy of Matan Torah, which is the Maila of the Birurim, which happened afterwards. Kanal Sivdal. Who? Ki hayerida levarin amidus the nefesh bahamas ba laachrei v'al yedei agilu di Yetzias Mitzrayim. First, there is a gilu of Yetzias Mitzrayim, which is the gilu of v'al yedei agilu di Yetzias Mitzrayim nirgish ba gam lifnei hayerida mailas habirurim. Through the Pesach and through the Chodesh Nisan, it has the ultimate gilu inside of it, but it's still it's an inyan of Bal Karcham, like when the Yidden went out of Mitzrayim, it's like a Bal Karcham. It's margish. And then later, when it does the avodah, why? What's the shaykhs to it? Because the Yetzim in Mitzrayim hoisa b'rechush gadol. In other words, the neshama by Yetzias Mitzrayim connected to the ultimate lights of the birurim because they went out of Mitzrayim immediately with the rechush gadol. So the rechush gadol was the teaser, or the rechush gadol was similar to this that the neshama gets a little bit of a guf sense before it comes down, that it should want to go down in the body. The same is also collectively. The Neshamas Yisroel got a guf sense, a rechush gadol sense, which gave them a sense in the true treasures that there are in the gashmias of this world when we're going to be mavar them. And this is the idea that Yonasan says to Mocha Chodesh. In order that through the Yipakid Meshavecha should be the Nefkadata. Hu al yedei hamshachad v'yom l'yonasan. It needs the hamshachad v'yom l'yonasan. It's like we learned Kanal Siv Gimel, like we learned earlier. Shu al derech inyan the Yitzias Mitzrayim v'Kriyas Yamsuf. First, there needs to be a Yitzias Mitzrayim, Kriyas Yamsuf. We learned earlier the inyan of v'yom l'yonasan. Shal yedei zen nirgash oid lefnei hayarida. This is even before the time of the nefkadeta ki yapaked. Even before the descent, you sense already milas habirudim, the mila of the bitter. V'zeu v'nefkadeta ki yapaked moshavecha. And yapaked has what? Yapaked means chesarin, but in the yapaked itself already has hidden in it already the giloy. The malosha zeh mashma shashayich is the yapaked of v'kato loy metzada bittul she yapaked moshavecha and metzada inyan the yapaked moshavecha atzma, as we said, because of the chesarin. Ki aliyah da neshama shayedidas beguf loy mipnei shayedei zeh mizgale inyan da neshama. It's not bittul. It's not that the neshama has deeper bittul. El metzada guf atzma. It's the chisarin, it's the guf itself going into something that's be'etzem, gashmius is the most weakest, diminished, emptiest state. But that's where the Maila is. Because that's where the Bechir of the Atzmus is, or the Bechir of the Eberster is. Val derech zeh ben agele inyan de v'nefkadeta. Shazeh nasa al yedei inyan de yapaked moshavecha atzmoi. V'nema v'nefkadeta ki yapaked moshavecha. Yapaked yamalasha v'nefkadeta. The noisel zeh she yapaked maybe v'nefkadeta. Gam b'yapaked atzma yesh inyan v'nefkadeta. Ki al yedei shayerida de yapaked moshavecha ba yedei amshachad v'liyem lo yonasan. Nirgish gam b'yerida atzma malas habirudim. In the yerida itself, you're already sensing the mila of the birudim. But already now you sense it. Just like a neshama is already now sensing when it's going down, the mila of the rechush gadol that it got a taste before. See, bittul, the mila of bittul is the mila of the neshama. The mila of guf is an inyan of chisarin, is that there's no mila. And dafke in that no mila is where the Eibishter chose. So now we finish. This is the chiddush of Knesset Yisrael Begula Asida. Shamasidim l'schadish kamoy, so they're going to be renewed. Shegam be'erev Rosh Chodesh. This is where the Rebbe talks about what happened Monday. Even on erev Rosh Chodesh, b'regoyim achroinim shalifnei ha'geula. And which erev Rosh Chodesh did he say? Erev Rosh Chodesh Sivan, we learned earlier. In the last moments before the Geula, Meir me'eina ilui da Geula. It's already shayach to the Giluyim of the Geula. Hein benegel in yonim ruchniyim, gilui pnimius atayra, the revelations of pnimius atayra, ubaoifen the yafutzum and esecha chutza, the hein benegel ar achush gadol sheyir bagula asida, pashat begashmias, shalocho b'nei Yisrael tiya parnasa barchava va'ad la'ashirus. Alle Yidden will have parnasa barchava, and alle Yidden should have ashirus. Umezeh bo miyad la geula. From there we come instantly to the geula. Sha'azi yeshnei in yonim betachas hashleimus. We'll have both. That the toiva will be so much, the good will be so much, and all the medanim will be v'afar. The world would be lucky, sheba lucky, if the Rebbe is Mashiach. Any other Mashiach wouldn't give them this. Never give them this. Rechush gadol and alles. Fools, tembles, they don't chapsach. Nobody else. Oh, maybe it should be the Baal Shem Tov. No one would give them this. No one would give them what the Rebbe is willing to give them. He's giving them everything. He's even giving them, they can have their gashmias and enjoy it. And at the same time, it's unbelievable. All right. 1 second.